watching the MAC on ESPN. Homecoming weekend means a little bit more in Oxford, Ohio. The Cradle of Coach is ready to welcome so many familiar faces and alumni back to Yager Stadium for one of the country's oldest homecoming celebrations. Miami hopes to strike the win column for the first time as they host FCS opponent Lindenwood. One final chance to get momentum before the start of MACtion next week. And a pleasant good afternoon. Sean Kinney alongside former Memphis running back Doc Holliday. So great to have you with us, Doc. Miami has seen this script before where they take their lumps during a very daunting non-conference schedule, but then they put the pieces back together and they make a run for a MAC championship. They can do it again this year, but if they do it, it's going to be with a young team.
And that's one of the reasons Chuck Martin starts his team off with such tough opponents. But you talk about the young, inexperienced team that the Red Hawks have right now, but he's getting them prepared for MAC play. And homecoming today, hadn't had a win, so you schedule people like Lindenwood, hoping you can get a dub on homecoming, Sean.
Well, they're going to have their work cut out offensively. Henry Hessen ready to make his second career start. He's in there for the injured Daquan Finn. Obviously, this changes things for the Red Hawks offensively. How's this offense going to look today?
Well, Daquan Finn can do some things Henry Hessen can't do. And when you talk about Daquan Finn and you watch him play, he's extremely dangerous. Not only throwing the ball, but he does a lot of damage on the ground running. But Henry Hessen, he's in there. He's more of a thrower, but now he has to lead this Red Hawks offense that can't even think about Finn not being there today.
So no starting quarterback. Who will carry the load? I know your answer on this one. You turn to the running back.
It's number 9, Kenny Tracy, had an outstanding game last week, 16 carries, 104 yards, nearly 90 yards receiving, and 2 more touchdowns. Had a great game. Now, he ended the game with a big fumble, but he can't remember and think about any of that because he has to show up today.
On the other sideline, no questions at quarterback for Lindenwood. They have won 2 in a row in a large part because of the play of Nate Glantz.
Nate Glantz, I think it's something wrong with him psychologically, but I call him a warrior because when you're talking to Coach Jed, I like to call him Coach Jed, he said Nate Glantz really doesn't get going until someone punches him in the mouth, and you see he can do it all.
It is an absolutely gorgeous homecoming weekend in Oxford. Sunshine, warm weather for the final weekend of September. Lindenwood won the toss. They elected to defer, and it is the first all-time meeting, the Red Hawks and the Lions, homecoming edition 2025. And Lindenwood on the special teams, the jarring hit to set the tone early. And Miami will have it deep in their own end following the return of 15 yards. And there is Henry Hessen. What a moment for him. He has patiently waited for this opportunity. You don't see this story in college football that often. 5th year at Miami, yet career start number 2. He has been behind some good quarterbacks, including Brett Gabbert. And now with Finn on the shelf, this is his offense.
And you got to love his loyalty. Staying here now is paying off because he's getting a start today.
From the 15-yard line, you will see the RPO a little bit more with Hessen as a good surge over the right side. And expect a steady dose of Kenny Tracy, a gain of 10.
And that's what I like about Kenny Tracy. If you saw him, he goes north and south. You see the run-pass option. Hessen putting it in Kenny Tracy's stomach. Wanted to keep it, but said, no, go ahead, number 9. Number 9 gets it. Not only does he barrel over the defenders, he barreled over the umpire as well.
Tracy coming off his first career 100-yard game last week. Josh Ringer, the redshirt freshman, into the game for the first time. Hessen is going to throw, pressured out of the pocket by Passmore. He'll tuck and run, and wisely goes into the protective slide, a gain of 6.
And that's one of those situations. You see Lindenwood coming out. They're going to play that cover too, so they don't want anybody to get behind them. Henry Hessen doing a great job of reading that. Rolls out to the left, not trying to play hero ball. He see there was no one to throw the ball to, so just chuck it and pick up some positive yardage.
You look at this Lindenwood defense, and they have really good linebackers with Strickland and Waller. Their 2 rush-ins, McClendon and Passmore. They are MAC-type bodies.
They'll smack you. They will smack you right in your mouth.
2nd down and 4. They will try to stretch it wide off the jet sweep, and another first down Up to the 41-yard line, able to get the football to their receiver Perry, a gain of 10.
And that's what you want to do when you have playmakers who know how to make plays, explosiveness like Cam Perry has. You want to get them the ball in space. Now, even though that was a great run by him, but he has some great blocking out front from not only his offensive linemen, but from his other receivers.
Good-looking drive to start this game for Miami. Drive that started back at their own 15. They have it 1st and 10 at the 41. Late handoff up the middle and a push over the left guard up to the 46. They're just getting 4, 5, 6 yards of crack right now.
And what you're seeing that Miami offensive line imposing their will. You want to win the line of scrimmage. You want to win the battle in the trenches, especially when you have a running back like Kenny Tracy. And so far, early on in this series, early on in this game, that Miami Redhawks offensive line is winning those battles.
One of the question marks coming into the game, would Chris Manu be able to go, the center? And he is out there to start this game. He was one of 4 key injuries the Redhawks took in the gut-wrenching loss to UNLV last Saturday here at Yeager. Much better job defensively. Sanjay Strickland filling the hole. And for the first time, Miami faced with a 3rd down.
And Sanjay Strickland is one of those players that coach says can make plays, will make plays. And you see right there that Lindenwood defense came out anticipating that Miami was going to run the rock with Kenny Tracy. That's exactly what they did. They acted like they was going to bring some pressure, but jump back in the zone and pack the box and stop Mr. Number 9.
Miami has really struggled on 3rd downs through the first 3 games of the season. 3rd and short. They keep Tracy in for pass protection, taking a shot downfield. Receiver had a step, but he overshot him. They were looking for the speedster and the transfer from Washington, Keith Reynolds.
And you talk about when quarterbacks say, man, I wish I could have that throwback. Henry Hesson not only wants to have that throwback, but have that entire read back, because you see Reynolds just go up the field, just quick fade, hit the seam, wide open. Henry Hesson just misses it. But even the outside receiver, he had him open on the whip route. He just didn't see him, in just a wasted opportunity for Miami.
So they were running the ball well, and then it gets stuffed right around midfield on the incompletion. Now Stainton, the punter, with a nice job, as he will pin Lindenwood deep in their own end. Lion offense that last week was able to get going. They put together their most complete game of the season. Nate Glantz, the 5th-year senior out of Elkhorn, Nebraska. It's been quite a journey that started right along the banks of the Missouri River in Omaha, Nebraska. Started at Iowa Western Community College, had a lot of success there, then went to Iowa State for a year, settled at McNeese for a year, and now it is year 2, and he put together his most complete game of the season last week in the win against Stony Brook. He will throw on 1st down. Dangerous throw, and it is intercepted. The Redhawks come away with the pick. Silas Walters with his 2nd interception of the year.
When you talk about perfect defensive back play, watching the eyes of the quarterback, but not only that, doing your job. You see Glantz comes out, play action, but he's right there to undercut the receiver, sees the receiver coming out on the crossing route and just jumps right in front of him. Glantz almost didn't see him, but now he sees Walters celebrate with the ball and handing that ball back off to this Miami Redhawks offense.
Defense that had a couple of interceptions last week for Miami, and now on the game's first play for Lindenwood, it is the veteran on the back end, Walters, with a 2nd interception this year. Excellent starting position for Miami, but flags fly.
False start, offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's the tight end, Brian Shane.
And Sean, going back to that Glantz interception, you can tell he was eyeing this receiver the entire way. He knew where he wanted to throw the ball pre-snap, and Walters knew it as well, so he was just waiting on him, and Glantz didn't even see him. That's what you call having tunnel vision by a quarterback.
So after the penalty now, 1st and 15 from the 19-yard line. Looks like Hesson might be changing up the play. Puts the tight end Shane over to the left. Hesson looking that direction, has time, zips it far sideline. It's caught. Minimal gain at the tight end, Brian Shing. Chuck Martin was hired December 3rd, 2013. He started 4-14 in his first 18 MAC games, and ever since that point, all he's done is just win games and MAC championships for this program.
Just a great head coach. He's able to scheme, he's able to recruit well, and he's able to deal with players well. But even though this year he says he has to be more like Dr. Field when dealing with these young players.
Good open field tackle on the left side. Tracy unable to get away, and for the second time it is Sanjay Strickland, the fifth-year senior. We talked about the athleticism with these linebackers.
And that's what Sanjay Strickland can do. He can come get you. See, Kenny Tracy is one of those running backs. You don't want to have him going north and south with those shoulder passes. He's going east and west. And when you're going east and west like that, you lose leverage and you lose power. And Sanjay Strickland said, you're going to lose momentum because I'm going to drop you. And that's exactly what 1-5 just did.
Third down and 11. Miami would hate to waste this early scoring opportunity after the Walters interception. They run a stun up front. Little hitch pattern is caught. Work to do after the catch, and he will be about a yard shy. Weaver with the grab, the redshirt sophomore. And for Chuck Martin in this offense, an early decision, and it looks like they are going to keep the offense on the field, and they'll bring out the jumbo package.
And even though that was a positive play by Miami, but in that situation, when you're Lindenwood, all you want to do is protect the goal line. Don't let anybody get across the goal line. They did that, left Miami short of the touchdown, but they're coming out here with those big dogs to try to get a touchy.
Three tight ends. They bring an extra tackle, and Lindenwood stuffs it. Nowhere to go. Alex Dawkins, one of the first players in. And how about this Lion defense? Nolan O'Hara, Alex Dawkins after the early turnover. Miami unable to capitalize. This hard-hitting defense a long way from home. Year 9 for Jed Stugart and Lindenwood, and this is a special year for him. They found out earlier in the summer that they are now a fully instituted Division I program, meaning that the playoffs are a possibility at the FCS level, and he talked about how that was certainly an igniter this offseason, this summer, for this program that's worked so hard to get to this moment.
And that adds some motivation for the team because they know they have something to play for. You work in the winter, you work during the spring and in the summer to look forward to hopefully winning the championship. So now this year they know they have a chance to do that.
Once again, from the shadows of their own end, Glantz will get rid of it quickly, and it's a throwing catch to Crobath. How about that for confidence in a quarterback deep in his own end after getting picked off with his very first attempt? They trust him enough to come out throwing from his own goal line.
No doubt about it, because he throws to someone he trusts in Crowbar. If they're going to play up off of him like that, it's just an easy 7-yard out route. That's exactly what he ran, able to snatch it and get a fresh 4.
Four-man front for Miami. Again, they move the pocket. Glance is going to take a shot looking for the talented freshman Bond, but blanket coverage, absolutely no room given. Walters again coming over from his safety spot. This is a secondary, Doc, that's a little depleted. No Caleb Martin. He was injured last week against UNLV, so they'll turn to some youth at the opposite corner spot of Luke Evans.
And a lot of people have to step up when you have inexperienced people in the defensive backfield like that, which means you're going to count on your linebackers to make the right plays and your defensive linemen. But, of course, Glance knows that inexperience is back there, and he's going to try to take some shots the entire game.
Second down, they will run the football for the first time. They have a couple of really good running backs. Steve Hall, Jared Rhodes, a couple of very capable backs. Both a little dinged up entering this game. Rhodes forced to carry the load last week. Hall was injured in the App State game, missed Charleston Southern, so it's been Rhodes predominantly the last 2 weeks.
And both of them can get the job done, but Rhodes is one of those big backs, loves to play physical, loves to go north and south, and he can take some football out of a defense, and I'm pretty sure Lindenwood is hoping he does that today.
Third down, Miami dials up a blitz. Glance sees it. He'll take a shot again, looking for Bond. And a good job by the Red Hawks secondary. Coverage on the play by Eli Blakey, coming off a 16 tackle performance, and after an initial first down, the punting unit back out there.
And Miami Redhawks, that defense doing a good job of putting Glance in that umbrella. You have both of your ends making sure he doesn't get outside. Then they brought pressure up the middle, made him rush it, and him rushing the throw made him overthrow the receiver. And now Miami getting the ball back after a good defensive series.
E.J. Vinatieri on the punt. Here they come. It's a block. It's a scoop. And it is a score. Special teams for Miami. Jermaine Agee, after Beasley got in to block it.
What better way to start this by, let's see, when you call somebody too much and call them too often, they block you. And that's exactly what Coy Beasley did. He didn't even turn around to see if his player was going to scoop and score because he knew his teammate had his back. Agee scoops and scores, and Coy Beasley comes up with a great play. And now Miami, Ohio getting first points on the board.
A team throughout the years that has always been good on special teams. They brought in Beasley from Purdue. He was a state track champion from his days running track in the state of Ohio. He showed that speed off the edge. Special teams firing the opening salvo. With the exception of last week, slow starts have been a problem for Lindenwood, and today it's been offensively and special teams.
Yeah, you can't come out on the road, FCS, and you're facing one of the big boy programs. You see Miami comes up with the interception, then the block, scoop, scamper, scatter, touchdown, reception, and that touchdown on the block punt, and those just mistakes that Jazz Stugart really does not want his team to make.
Fourth full season as an FCS program out of the Ohio Valley Conference Big South Association. This is the first time that they are playoff eligible, as we talked about. They were a successful Division II program with a couple of Division II playoff appearances, and now Stugart in that prime location for recruiting, bringing in a lot of local talent as the extra incentive of maybe being a part of one of the more special playoffs in all of collegiate sports, the FCS playoff format.
Indeed, and Coach Stugart is doing a great job at Lindenwood, and of course he has some great relationships with those coaches and in those areas, and he talked about trying to keep some of that local talent right there to go to Lindenwood, and he's been able to do that, and you can see the kind of attitude that this team has.
60-mile radius around the arch is a hotbed of high school football, and they certainly have their share of local talent on this roster. Loyal to the Lou is how they like to tab it, the Lou being St. Louis, and as you well know, there is a plethora of talent in that area.
It is. When I used to play, I played for the St. Louis Rams, and we would try to go to some of those high school games on Friday, and you just had so many ballers, man, and some of them would show up to our games on Sunday, so it's a whole bunch of talent in that area.
You know, we were joking with Jed and talking about when they found out about the playoff opportunity is Bond has nowhere to go, and he said, yeah, mainly it was what our opponents were telling the recruits. They would go visit, talking about the opponents, and they'd bring up, yeah, we're looking at Lindenwood, and these coaches would bring up very quickly, now you do know they can't go to the playoffs, right? Well, throw that out the window.
Well, that's what you call hating, Sean. They were hating on them. So you think about Lindenwood, you know they can't go to the playoffs, right? Once you come on over here, but now they can't hate. They can't use that to hate on Lindenwood anymore.
Empty set on second down for Glantz. Has a pocket, near side throw, and it is caught. Helmet jarred free. Terrific concentration by Bond as he paid the price.
Rico Bond is one of those players they want to get the ball to, and you see
the offense has lost his helmet and will leave the game for one play.
You see him come out inside, just running that deep out. The defender comes out of the zone and lays that hat on him, but Bond able to do a great job of holding on to the ball, even though he couldn't hold on to his helmet. He's able to hold on to the ball, and Lindenwood holds on to possession, and they continue to march.
Bond leading the association, the OVC Big South, in a number of receiving categories. His 24th catch of the year, and this is the cutback ability that has a lot of fans around Lindenwood excited. Steve Hall, one of the preseason player of the year candidates, showing his cutback ability.
I love that. You see he comes out with the little counter move in the backfield, goes left, sees a hole, has the vision and the explosiveness to get through the hole and pick up some great yardage.
A little bit of tempo for the first time. Again, it is Hall running through one arm tackle. He'll have enough for the first down up to the 49-yard line. Hall coming off a huge season a year ago in which he was an All-American, rushed for over 800 yards, led the conference averaging 7 yards per touch.
I can see he has some great feet. He has some great vision. Some running backs are just talented running backs, and he's definitely that.
Flag flies, this one broken up.
Offside. Defense, number 20. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's Adam Trick, the defensive end. And for the first time this afternoon, Lindenwood in the plus territory. Wholesale changes for the Red Hawks along that defensive line. Stutter stepping into a pile of humanity goes the back Hall. Now, one thing, Doc, when you look at Lindenwood this year, you go back to the App State game. That was a sellout crowd, Brewer Stadium, always a hostile environment. They fell behind 14-0, yet they found a way to hang in the game. They've been able to persevere through some slow starts, and they're going to have to do it again today.
That's the importance of having mental toughness and being able to handle adversity, and that's what Coach talked about. He said his team was not going to be overwhelmed by the atmosphere because they've been in these situations before, and they've had to come back from deficits, and they're not sweating where they are right now.
Second down, Glance fires. This one too tall.
Glance's pass. It is complete.
Right now, Glance is just standing back there in the shotgun and swinging it around. I'm pretty sure their Miami Redhawks defense, they like that because they don't want him running around, scrambling and ad-libbing, because he has the ability to make some plays, but he also hadn't been hit hard yet. So Coach Stugart said once he gets hits hard, he usually gets going then. So maybe they want to lay off on him and don't hit him too hard, don't wake him up just yet.
You wonder as well if this is 4-down territory for the Lions. Again, they bring that blitz, they dump it out quickly to the backfield, and a good open field tackle is made. They want to get Hall in space, but Eli Blakey doing his assignment, able to lasso Hall down, and now a decision for Stugart and company.
You're exactly right. Eli Blakey just read that perfectly. His responsibility was the running back coming out of the backfield, either on the wheel route or in the flat. They dumped it to him, and Blakely was there to drop him right away. And Lindenwood not taking any chances here. They could go for it, but looks like they're deciding to punt.
Jed Stugart wanting to play the field position game. Vinatieri, end over ring kick. Fair catch signaled for. Billups Williams reels it in, but there was contact by the coverage unit, and this will be some free yards for Miami tacked on.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team number 3. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Miami. Timeout for media.
Special teams really hampering the upset bids for Lindenwood. First a block punt, now a silly mistake. It's not how you start, but it's how you finish. That has been the mentality for Chuck Martin throughout the years. He always schedules a very daunting non-conference slate, but the team is able to take their bumps and bruises and really perfect things before the start of MAC play and really turn things around.
Yeah, Coach Martin talked about these slow starts that his team tend to have, but he says this year is a lot different than other years because for one, he doesn't have any leaders on offense that are real verbal. He has them on defense, but these players, they kind of get down on themselves, so he has to keep reassuring them that the sky isn't falling.
Tracy with his 5th carry of the game, and it's a good run by Kenny Tracy over the right tackle, double digits, pickup of 12 and a first down.
Not only is it a great run by Kenny Tracy, just a little stretch play, finds a hole, but the reason why he was able to find that hole, the offensive tackle, look at him working. Look at the offensive guard. Bear is his man. Number 10 is out there blocking, and Tracy is able to take advantage of everybody blocking downfield and getting north and south.
Pancake block delivered by the center, Chris Manu. He's looking healthy. First down from the 37. Hessen slips it out near side. Tracy, who was a pivotal part of the passing game last week, 6 catches, 84 yards, both of his touchdowns last week coming through the air.
And that's what he can do. Not only can he run it, he can receive it out of the backfield. You see right there, they just sent him on a arrow route. He gets it out in space, and I love the way he's able to catch the ball, turn up the field, and he finishes physical. That was a physical finish. Because
Number 8's helmet came off on the previous play. He'll sit for 1 play.
Now in the 3rd and 4th quarters, that DB is not going to want to be hitting Tracy like that.
Second down, Hessen will keep it on the ground. This is Tracy slipping through one would-be tackle and being cut down about 1.5 yards shy, bringing up a 3rd down. It was quite a week for Kenny Tracy last week. He popped out of the locker room, and to his delight, he had over 60 members of his family, a lot of his friends, who took a bus. They all hopped on a bus and made the surprise journey to Yager Stadium, and boy, he put on a show.
He did, and it means so much when you have that much love and support from your family and friends coming to watch you play, and he rewarded them from coming to watch him play by having a great game, and I know he pretty well and loves to appreciate what his family did for him.
His older brother Tyrone right now trying to recover from an injury with the Giants. Home run ball downfield, and it's knocked away, incomplete. Looked like Gant got a hand in there in the nick of time. They were looking for Perry.
That's just great coverage by Gant. You can see they're trying to get the ball to Cam Perry. I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to high point the football, and Hessen trying to put it somewhere on his back shoulder, only where he can get it, but the coverage was just too good. Gant still having the recognition to reach back there and knock that ball away.
Hessen making just his 2nd career start, the 5th year, having some dialogue with Chuck Martin. And now an opportunity for the fake, but deciding to punt the ball was Staten. He could still be running. Punt barrels into the end zone. Special teams coverage. Let's see if they got down on it. And they are going to signal a touchback. Boy, Doc, it looked like Staten could have took off if he wanted to. There was no one within 20 yards of him.
I saw him watching. I saw him thought about it. He was doing that little slow gallop, and he was thinking about it, but there was a spy there. I saw the spy late. Watch the spy over here. He said, "Come, I wish you would. I wish you would. Look at him. I wish you would." You see him out here? I wish you would. I wish you would. He was like, I saw him. He's like, nah, I'm cool. I'm going to go ahead on decide to punt this ball because I don't feel like getting punted in the face.
Miami so close to getting the ball marked inside the 1. Instead, it is Lindenwood coming out, throwing wide open along the sideline, and that is a gain of 12 on first down as they hit Rico Bond.
I don't understand why Rico Bond would be that wide open. He is the threat that they have on the outside, and all he did was ran a hitch, and There was no one around him at all. You see what he did last week, 8 catches, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's what he can do. So I would think you would have somebody on him all the time, like we have a camera on him all the time. But Miami apparently is not following that protocol.
12 yards, and again, they're just giving that cushion, and Glantz continues to take it. This time it's Jalen Smith. A lot of youth in the receiving core, the 1-2 punch of Bond and Smith.
And that's what you want to do if you're Glantz and you're this Lindenwood offense. Take what that Miami defense gives you. Don't try to play hero ball. Don't try to force things, because when you force things, that can get you in trouble. And we've seen Glantz get in trouble trying to force some things earlier this ball game. But right there, they're going to give you that kind of cushion, man. You might as well take it and pick up 10 yards a play if that's what they're going to let you have.
Second straight drive that Lindenwood is moving the football. 5 first downs in this opening quarter. Glantz trying to get free, cannot escape the edge. Cut off beautifully. Nowhere to go. That was James Schott, the reserve defensive end, sophomore out of Greenwood, coming in.
And that's what you call doing your job. His job, Schott's job, is to not let Glantz and anybody else get outside of him, so he's able to engage the blocker. But while he has the blocker engaged, he still has his eyes on Glantz, and he's able to shed the blocker and drop Glantz.
Second down, same throw along the far side. This will set up a very manageable third down. Back-to-back catches for Jalen Smith, the redshirt sophomore who had just 1 catch in week 1 and 2, had a key drop early in the game against Charleston Southern, but ever since that moment, he has been really good for them.
Yeah, coming up big, came up big right there. He has some strong hands because Glantz ripped that ball.
They go fast. Glantz lobs it, a lot of contact, and here comes the flag. They were looking for Smith again. He was all tied up on the play by Adrian Walker, the true freshman out there for the injured Caleb Martin.
Now, you know you're guilty, as we know Walker was guilty, but that referee threw that flag and it hit Walker right in his face as he was lying face down on the field, and he knew it.
Pass interference, defense number 6. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And you can see him there just manned up. He's like, man, I don't want to give up a touchdown. So he used his right arm to kind of hook him around the waist and bring him down, and obvious pass interference. Everybody can see it.
Third penalty of this opening quarter for the Red Hawks. Not much on first down. This is a Lindenwood team last week that put together their most complete offensive game of the year.
For an injured player on the offense.
One of the Lions injured, and that's their big lineman who's going to hobble off on his own power to the sideline. Nate Compere, their starting guard. But this is a team coming in that held the ball last week for 37 minutes against Stony Brook. They are a good time of possession team this year.
And they are. When you have the ball for that many minutes in the ball game, that means you are really dominating and controlling the line of scrimmage.
Second down, putting some air on it, looking for Bond. This time, much better coverage. Blakey was right on top of Rico Bond.
Even though Blakey did have some great coverage on Rico Bond right there, Rico Bond turns around and starts looking for the pass too soon instead of just running his route, because Glantz was throwing it to a spot. Rico Bond turned around a little bit too early, like he was expecting the ball right there, and Glantz was not going to throw the ball right there because he's throwing to a spot.
Neither team with a third down conversion in this opening quarter. The Lions 0 for 2. They are in field goal range for their young kicker, Will Graham. Third down. They bring the linebackers on a blitz. Little stop route offline with the throw. Lance had his guy, but the throw a little bit far and to the right for Jalen Smith.
And it almost seemed like it was a miscommunication. It looked like Jalen Smith had the choice of either doing a comeback or a curl. Comeback out toward the sideline, a curl back inside. Glantz throw like he's throwing the curl route. Jalen doing the comeback route, and they were just not on the same page. Incomplete. Now they have to punt it.
They would be looking at a 48-yard field goal with Graham instead. Their defense is playing pretty well. They're going to try to play the field position game with their punter Vinatieri, and he does the job. 22-yard punt.
That name sounds familiar. That name
certainly does.
Kind of famous, isn't it?
Yeah, we're used to seeing him kick that football through the uprights. E.J. Vinatieri and his father Adam, one of the best.
Oh, indeed he is. Even though he played for a team I can't really stand, but it's okay.
You probably can't stand them because Vinatieri won so many games for them throughout the years.
You're
They won a lot of games.
Not trying to be personal up here today, son, but you're exactly right. But no, just a great kicker and just a great kicking family.
Adam, incidentally enough, he started his collegiate days at South Dakota State, an FCS program, much like Lindenwood. Worst starting position of the quarter for Miami, and what might be the final play of the quarter. They will run the jet sweep to Reynolds, and a transfer from Washington with 11 yards on what will be the final play
That's the end
of this opening quarter. Lindenwood certainly has showed up. They are putting up a fight, but it's been the special teams the difference. The block punt, the scoop and score by AG. There's been plenty of hard hits, turnovers as well, and after one, Miami by 7. Year 3 as the offensive coordinator for Miami, Pat Welsh. Not liking what he has seen so far from his offense, especially after the defense came away with the interception, unable to turn that into points.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Henry Heston, the backup quarterback, is kind of struggling right now, and you can see Lindenwood. They're not afraid of him at all. They're playing their cover 2. They're keeping 7 in the box so they can kind of contain Kenny Tracy, and they just not afraid of what Henry Heston can do to them through the air so far. So he has to prove them wrong.
79 yards for Miami, the majority of it coming on the ground. through the first 15 minutes as we start quarter number 2. Hessen will keep it, scramble off to his right, floats, receiver downfield, Perry makes the catch. Nice job there on the run as they are able to get the ball ahead to their weapon, Cam Perry.
And that's how you prove them wrong. So, okay, if you are not afraid of me, I'm going to have to make you all afraid of me. You just play action on the rocket sweep. He scrambles a little bit. Cam Perry staying alive. He outruns his man, able to catch it, and Cam Perry's mad at himself because he slipped down. He felt like he could have made his man miss and probably took it to the house, but still, that's a great confidence builder for young Mr. Hessen.
25 yards to Perry, coming off back-to-back 100-yard games. On first down, up the middle with Tracy. You know, you go back to Pat Welsh and what he has been able to do. You take a look at last year, this was one of the most explosive offenses in the MAC, and they did not return one single starter off that offensive unit from a year ago. And you look at last week, it was a story of two halves. They just haven't found the consistency that they're used to seeing around Oxford.
And it's just not easy to replace that kind of and substitute that kind of productivity and them kind of great plays. And you see Miami is having struggles and problems trying to do that so far.
Second down, they get rid of it quickly. Tracy with some room to run, keeps his balance, and he will go out of bounds. Good gain on the quick throw to Tracy. Safe play call, and Miami on the march, 16 yards.
Very safe play call, and that's what you want your quarterback to get some confidence. May as well give it to the running back who's proven he can catch the rock out of the backfield, and there you got Tracy just out in the flesh. Just dump it to him and let him pick up some positive yardage. That's exactly what just happened. Not only Miami picking up some positive yardage, but in the process of that, Hessen picking up some confidence.
First down, a little misdirection. They look left, come back right, looking for the running back as a flag is down along the near side. I'm not sure if Miami had enough up on the line of scrimmage. Wait and see our referee, Rich Edwards, this afternoon.
There is no foul for ineligible downfield as the ball was legally grounded by the quarterback.
You know what opposing coaches normally say in situations like that? Why'd you throw the flag then, man? You saw something.
Come on now.
You saw something. Don't go back on your word.
Jed Stugart might sing it instead of tell him.
Exactly.
We'll talk more about that a little bit later on in the broadcast. It's got some wonderful vocal cords along the Lindenwood sideline. Change of direction, and there goes Tracy. Boy, just as he was getting ready to take it into another notch, safety came in and made the shoestring tackle.
And there's just some great patience right there, but Tracy, you see, he takes the handoff and squares his shoulders and gets through the hole and plants that left foot and immediately goes north and south. You have the DB coming in, bringing him down, and he understands that, man, if I was able to step up out of there, pick my knees up just a little bit more, he probably could have scored, but shoestring tackle brought him down. But nevertheless, Kenny Tracy with another big chunk of yardage.
Seventh play of this drive coming up for Miami. Tracy already with 49 yards rushing on 7 attempts. Hessen will throw, back foot throw, and a good open field tackle. They're able to get it to Reynolds, but he was shadowed the entire way by Alex Dawkins.
And what I'm seeing from this Lindenwood defense right now, you just saw it by Alex Dawkins, once they get their hands on you, pretty much coming down. And to me, that says coaching. That means they're coached up, they have the right mindset, and they're practicing on tackling, because a lot of teams don't hit in practice anymore. I don't know how much Lindenwood hits, but it seems like they hit because they are doing a great job of tackling.
Real physical linebacking core. Strickland, Willingham, Waller. Still without maybe their best linebacker, Devon Edwards. They're hoping to get him back in the next week or two. Play clock down to 2. They just did get it off, and it's a late handoff to Tracy as he cuts inside, 3 hard yards up to the 16.
You know what? Those plays are always tough for big running backs. when the quarterback has an option is pull it and keep it or give it to you, and they just put it in your stomach right there, and they kind of hold on to it, because Tracy doesn't have an opportunity to get his momentum going, even though he picked up a couple of yards. But I was one of those, if you're going to give it to me, go ahead on and give it to me, man, and get out of the way.
Talked about how third downs have been a problem for Miami coming into this one. Not faring any better today, 0 for 3. Third down, Hessen will take a shot toward the end zone looking for Perry. Harry Gant was with him. And Miami will send out the field goal unit.
And it looked like Cam Perry had a step on him. That's why he dropped his head, because he knew he had an opportunity to score the ball. Henry Heston just underthrew him, and you see him on the slot. He just runs the fade route, and great coverage right there. But Cam Perry initially had a step on him, had Henry Heston able to read that a little quicker and get the ball out of his hands quicker. He threw it kind of late. By the time he threw it, he underthrew it and threw it behind Cam Perry, and just didn't give him an opportunity at all.
One of the most reliable kickers in college football out on the field for Miami. And Dom Jobin hasn't had many attempts this year, but he's been perfect when his number has been called. There have been some legends to come through Oxford, Ohio throughout the years. The great Paul Brown, quarterback, the Red Hawks for a couple of seasons. He went on to lead the Buckeyes to their first national title. How about Bo Schembechler and what he did, leading Michigan to 13 Big Ten titles after leading Miami to back-to-back conference championships. John Harbaugh still winning football games. He was a hard-hitting, hard-nosed D-back for several years. And then you think Miami, you think Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Man, those some great names, some great football players, and some great big old shoulder pads, too.
Back when they wore pads, right?
Yeah, back when they wore pads, man.
Miami with a 10-0 lead. The 33-yard field goal by Dom Jobin. Longest drive of the day for the Red Hawks, 10 plays, 72 yards as this kick sails through the end zone for the touchback. It has been pass first, run second today for the Lindenwood offense and their game plan coming in. Glantz has been busy, 6 of 12. He was picked off on the very first throw this afternoon, 57 yards. What do you anticipate on this drive as they try to get some traction built?
More Nate Glantz. I anticipate him pulling the ball down and getting some running yards going and trying to get his game going in both aspects of this football game, running and passing, because he's such a tough player and he's such a playmaker. So you want to keep the ball in his hands and give him as many opportunities as he can to make some plays.
They start this drive from the 25. Pressure comes in. Glance spins out of it, still on his feet. He'll high knee it to the far side where he goes catapulting out of bounds. And there was some of the athleticism, Doc, that you were just talking about. Not too many quarterbacks get away from that.
Not at all. That's what you call escapability. You see him back, the play action, he wants to go deep, but he has so many Red Hawks at him. He's able to step up out of there, see some open space, and Glance able to make something out of nothing, even though he's extremely disappointed in how the play came about, but he's still able to make something positive out of something that shouldn't have been nothing.
Josh Lacusa, Adam Trick, along with the down tackle Nasir Washington, all had a crack at Glance. 3rd and long. They don't want to continue to be behind the sticks. An aggressive Miami defense that loves to bring their linebackers.
And I think Miami was anticipating Glance getting some more opportunities and try to do some things with his legs as well, because they read that perfectly. Glance trying to get off to the left side of that Lindenwood offensive line, and by the time he got close to the line of scrimmage, he sniffed the line of scrimmage. It was 4 or 5 Red Hawks there.
Bond and Smith, the 2 receivers, twin set to the right. Crobath, the receiver, left. 3rd down and 12. Pressure up the middle. Glance as a flag flies. Dangerous throw, and this one nearly intercepted. Boy, he was fortunate that one wasn't picked off. The receiver became the defender there. The flag in the vicinity of a hole.
Holding. Offense, number 7. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
And that's the running back. He's holding 32 came in there. And not only is Glance lucky he didn't get a pick, he's lucky that he didn't get smacked in the face. And as a running back, you're always told to protect inside out. He gets there and just absolutely gets run through by 3-2. And that's what happens, man. Hey, that's such a violent play, but the run, I don't blame him for holding, because Glance would have taken a big lick had he not done that. But you got to pass block that.
That was James Schott, who we had not seen a lot of through the first 3 games. Schott has made a couple of plays from his defensive end position. On the return, Billups Williams, good special teams coverage. It's a return of 3. 5 offensive series for the Lions. They have punted on 4 of them. The Red Hawk defense stubborn here at home.
Watch. Sync. Swipe. Personalize. Now available on the ESPN app.
The MAC football schedule on ESPN, always loaded. Here's what we have on tap next week. ESPN Plus, Western Michigan and UMass. Welcome to the MAC. Going out to our friends along the East Coast. Central Michigan and Akron. Eastern Michigan takes on Buffalo. And then in DeKalb, it's Northern Illinois taking on Miami. Two heavyweights throughout the years in the MAC colliding early. Good starting position for Hessen and the Redhawks from the 41-yard line. Hessen on the move. Planted along the far side, making the catch and picking up the first down. First touch of the day and first throw and catch to the Redhawks, Braylon Isworn.
And Lindenwood is conceding those hitch routes a lot of times, and Miami coming out picking up good yardage, but it's only once they get in the red zone that Lindenwood defense tightens up and they don't let the Redhawks have any space to get anything done other than a field goal or a field goal attempt.
First catch of the season for Ism as they hand the ball off. Boy, Hessen paid the price and he handed the ball off in the nick of time, and then Tracy took it from there. He's all the way to the 31-yard line, 16 yards on the run by Kenny Tracy.
And that's what you have to do. Give it to the running back. Just let it go, Hessen. Get out of the way. You don't need to keep it. Give it to me. And Kenny Tracy doing a great job of once again of seeing the hole and getting through the hole, and just a huge hole. No one over there, and he's able to get north and south extremely fast, pick up some great yardage, and now he goes out of it. You know, as a running back, yeah, pick up a good yards and go to the bench. But anyway, stay fresh, my guy.
Boy, he has had his touches in this first half, as expected. No Daquan Finn.
Timeout. Lindenwood, their first of the half. 30 seconds.
Good timeout here for
Media
the Lions to regroup a little bit, maybe reeling just a bit. So they're going to slow it down. They'll take a timeout. We'll take one with them. 7:38 to go, first half. Miami on the march. It's been quite a journey for Kenny Tracy, his 6th year in Oxford. Already has his degree in psychology, but you look at how he's come out of camp each and every year. This has been the first time he's actually been healthy coming out of fall camp. Had to quarantine in 20, labrum issues in 21, hamstring back-to-back years, and then the worst injury of them all, the ACL, in what was expected to be his final year. It cost him the entire season. He trained as hard as anybody, rehabbed as hard as anyone that Chuck Martin has seen coming off that injury, and he has been the guy that they envision, especially the last couple of weeks.
And I'm happy for him, man. It's always tough dealing with injuries like that, so glad to see him have some success so far this year.
Hessen looking, Perry elevates, makes the catch, touchdown! Cam Perry, 31 yards.
I guarantee you Cam Perry told Hessen the last time, look, man, I had him, so we need to go back to that. They go back to that, and Cam Perry actually doing the same thing he did the last time he was in this position, but the ball was underthrown. It was underthrown there, but Cam Perry able to read it, knowing how it was coming, looks back, jumps up, and gets a great touchdown reception, not over just one defender, but two defenders.
Jobin adds the point after, and really for the first time today, Miami able to hit the downfield throw, and Cam Perry.
That's it, like strike him. You see Cam Perry, he's in the slot. He just runs the fade, go. Fade, go, then jumps, and he lets him know, I got him. So look, Henry, next time you see me do that, man, and you call that, give it to me. He had confidence in him. He did it again, and Cam Perry comes up big. Henry Hessen with the nice throw, even though the ball was underthrown. But I'm not going to say anything about Henry Hessen. We're going to give Hessen and Perry some credit right there. That's just a great route. Turns into a great throw. It turns into a great throw because it was a great effort and a great catch.
It's practically a brand new receiving core this year for Miami, with the exception of Cam Perry, the redshirt junior from Atlanta. Has always had the game-breaking speed, but Chuck Martin told us he's really perfected his route running this year. He's always been that smaller, quicker option. Transfer from Indiana, arrived just in time for fall camp last year. Now his second year in Pat Welsh's system, he has excelled.
And not only that, Sean, we can talk about his explosiveness. To me, it's the confidence. When you're a receiver, you have to be confident. You have to feel like you're open every play, or feel like you can get open every play. And just watching Cam Perry, he's one of those players that feels like he's open every play. Like this last touchdown catch, he wasn't open, but he caught himself open and caught a touchdown. So players like that are extremely valuable.
So trouble really brewing now for Lindenwood, down 17. And their experienced signal caller, Nate Glantz. They really haven't tried the ground game that much. Hall, 4 carries, 15 yards. Jared Rhodes has touched it only once.
I think what they're seeing from this Miami Redhawks defense, you're seeing that front four, that down four, being extremely physical and not giving up much ground, not giving up much real estate from where that ball is snapped. And not only that, Miami is showcasing a lot of team speed. They're just not allowing anybody to get around the corner on them.
Rhodes is the tailback, and he will get the call. He is a big back, 220-pounder. Off to the best start in a season in his 4 years in St. Charles, coming off a career-high 85 yards last week. And a lot of those yards, Doc, you appreciate as much as anyone. Fourth quarter yards on the final drive to seal it.
That's what happens. You wear people down when you are that size, and he's a muscular running back. So when you run physical and you're constantly popping somebody 1 quarter, 2 quarter, 3 quarter, once you get to that 4th quarter, they don't really want to touch you anymore.
It's a nice 1-2 dynamic with Hall. Smith goes up, makes a nice adjustment to the throw that sailed on Glantz. It's a minimal game, bringing up a 3rd down, pick up 2.
That's another one of those situations that Miami team speed. You get a quick throw out there. First defender almost able to get away from him, but by the time the receiver spins out of that, you have 3 or 4 more defenders right there to push him out of bounds and take him down.
3rd down and 4 for the Lions. Dangerous juncture of this game. Inside 6.5 to go, 2nd quarter. Miami with 5 on the line of scrimmage. They drop a couple of back into coverage, and the ball is broken up. Terrific job reaching around, getting a hand in there. Coy Beasley, who had the block punt earlier in the game.
And Beasley is balling today. If you just see those three receivers over there. You got two slants going, and both of them read perfectly. And Beasley there read their route and ran the route almost better than the receiver as they're hooking around the waist with the left arm. Referee didn't see it because he's got his right arm up, and Dikembe Mutombo on that football.
Line drive, a returnable kick for Billups Williams. Trying to scoot his way to the outside, and he is picked up and stopped in his tracks at the 38. It's a return of 6 yards for Billups Williams.
Taken down by
Miami has certainly saw an uptick in their offensive numbers. They have dominated the second quarter.
They have, and the reason they've dominated the second quarter because they found some rhythm. They found some things they like to do and that they can do, and they found some success doing some things. And as we said, they're running physically. Kenny Tracy, he's dominating the running game because the offensive lineman is dominating the running game, and you see them dominating the yards, 198 to just 78 for Lindenwood. Third downs, I know Coach Martin doesn't like that, but both of them, they're 0-4 on third downs. Lindenwood is 0-5, but Miami is winning on the scoreboard.
Winning the field position battle as well as they start from the 40. Reynolds goes in motion. He's a decoy. And one of the few times in this first half that Lindenwood has been able to bottle up Kenny Tracy. Strickland, who has played a very good first half, stood him up. Strickland was all over the field in the game film we watched with App State. Had 13 tackles, had a sack, a forced fumble. He was the Association Player of the Week, third-year player for Lindenwood. Josh Ringer into the game. He flanks Hess into the right. This time they will give it to Reynolds. Puts on the brakes, spins away from traffic. Good pursuit defense, though, by the Lions.
That's great pursuit defense by Lindenwood. You understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to get to their speed. So Reynolds, he can't get around the corner, so he wants to kind of come back. And a lot of times when you reverse field, you got to understand there's danger in there. There's danger and there's trapping in there, but you see Reynolds still trying to make a play, but that Lindenwood defense wasn't having any of it. They win that play. 2
down tackles, Satterwhite and Zook. Good job maintaining their position in the center there as the running back came back to their neighborhood. They dropped 7 in the coverage, near sideline throw, off lawn. He was looking for Reynolds. And again, Doc, I know it might not seem large, but that is a really pivotal stop if you're Lindenwood and this defense continuing to give the offense a shot.
And it is, and it's just another missed throw by Henry Heston. He had him on the out route. He was open. He had got some space from the defender, but Heston just not able to put it there, and now they have to punt. And if you're Lindenwood, you have to be feeling good about where you are. You're looking at the clock and you're looking at the scoreboard. You're not happy that you're down 17-0, but you are happy about what you was able to just do on this defensive series.
Good high kick. Fair catch signal for at the 9. 48 yards on the punt. Terrific job by Pierce Stainton. Opportunistic year for not just Lindenwood, but a few other programs now becoming a full D1 institution in August. St. Thomas, the Tommies now playoff eligible, and they really took it to Lindenwood in week 1. Yeah. East Texas A&M, Stonehill, all eligible. And one thing I really appreciate, all 8 Ivy schools for the first time ever now eligible for the playoffs. They will take the regular season champ to get the automatic spot.
Yeah, and it can't be overstated and it can't be said enough, man. You have something to actually play for instead of just playing for stats and for likes and for clicks. You're able to have something that you can put on the scoreboard and put on the bulletin board to, we want to try to win the championship.
We talked to Jed Stugart about it, and he gave so much credit, and rightfully so, to athletic director Jason Coomer, school president Dr. John Porter for really doing all the checkbox process as far as showing that the money had been raised, the fundraising efforts were complete, the scholarship dollars were available. You know, the facilities are up to par with other Division I programs. They checked it all, and they were rewarded a year earlier than they originally were planning.
And that's the sign of having a great program when you have great administration.
Glance tripped up. Kuwach, the linebacker, number 33 in red, the fifth-year senior from nearby Cincinnati. Third downs have been a problem today for the Lions. 0 for 5 in this one.
And that Miami Redhawks defense, they just aren't giving Glance any room to breathe at all. They don't want him to find the rhythm. They don't want him to gain confidence. They don't want him to do anything but get an incompletion here and turn the ball back over to their offense.
Safety creeping up to the line of scrimmage. They run a stunt. Here they come off the edge, and they're going to swallow up Glance back at the 11-yard line. He had no chance whatsoever. Loss of 2 on the sack. They had players coming from every angle. Oscar McWood, one of the first ones in there, along with Bai Joe.
And when you look at number 20 coming off the edge, it's never a good thing when you see the offensive lineman just looking at the quarterback. But you look at 20, a nice look. He was really reading him. He read him, said, you're not going to go inside. He comes in. He's not able to get the sack, but he's actually the one that made that play because he's able to slow Glance up. Glance has it scrambled up to the middle of the defense, and once he gets to the middle, the rest of the defenders are there to bring him down.
A busy first half for Vinatieri, who gets the punt away, and this is his best punt of the day. This is a beauty. It will drive Billups Williams back at the 34. Turns immediately upfield and is cut down at the 44. Return of 10 yards following the big punt by A.J. Vinatieri. Vinatieri, the son of Adam, who had the remarkable 24-year run in the NFL, the Patriots, the Colts. His father holding all the NFL records for career points, 4-time Super Bowl champ, and he would certainly be proud of the punt he just saw from his son. 54 yards on the big boom from AJ.
That's kicking family, Adam and AJ Vinatieri. When you're raised by somebody that's such a professional and such a champion like that, you can't help but to be good at what you do.
Hessen will wait before handing it, sticking the ball in the gut of Kenny Tracy. You take a look at this clock as we hit the 2-minute timeout.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Miami will have all 3 timeouts, leading by 17. Their final tune-up before action. Chuck Martin, Miami, without the services of their starting quarterback, the 2023 MAC Player of the Year, DeQuan Finn, out with an injury. So it's been Henry Hessen, the 5th year out of Plainfield, making just his 2nd career start. Hessen 8 of 13, 103 yards, has the touchdown pass to Cam Perry. Second down, 2 receivers each side. Tracy trying to stretch it. Takes it into plus territory as he falls ahead to the 49. Plenty of time, Doc, if you're Miami. All 3 timeouts. Like to keep this football out of Lindenwood's hands. Don't give them any chance of late momentum to close out the first half.
Exactly. You see Coach Martin, he's not rushing. He's staying composed. He knows he's in control. He's in control of this drive. And if he picks up a first down right here, he has a great opportunity to go down and score.
They go empty, trying to thread the needle along the sideline. Deion Colsey cannot make the acrobatic one-handed grab. He was out of bounds, and the big goose egg for the Red Hawks on 3rd downs, and now they're going to have to send out the punting unit.
And I hate to say it again, Sean, but Colsey was open. He was open, but Hessen just sailed it a little bit too high. He was wide open. All he had to do was bring it down a little bit more. And to me, that just shows me he's not properly stepping into that throw because the ball is floating on him. But he had him. I think that's what Coach is telling him. Just calm down and relax. No need to be in a rush, and just remember your technique.
End over end kick, and the fair catch signal for at the 9. 46 yards in the punt, but hold everything. There is a flag down back at the Lindenwood 38.
During the kick, holding, return team, number 20, half the distance to the goal, first down.
This Lion offense getting used to working in the shadows of their own end, and the Miami defense has been flying to the football.
Just playing some ball. You see some pressure. Lance is able to get out of there, but he can't get too far because before you know it, more Red Hawks out of bounds. And then once again, you see Reynolds coming around making a play, trying to make a play, but that Lindenwood Lions defense roaring as well. Then Glance out in the gun, still nowhere to go. Number 20 gets his hands on him, makes him go back up to the middle of that defense, and that Miami defense, and those defenders are there to bring him down. And Chuck Martin love what he sees so far.
Defensive coordinator Bill Breakin and company. 3rd time Lindenwood has started inside their own 10. Glance is going to try to change that, but there is nowhere to go with it. He was looking for Drew Crobath. Walters in the neighborhood along with the safety Coy Beasley. How about this first half for the Purdue transfer Beasley? A block punt. We called his name a couple of times with his tight pass coverage.
That's what you call being versatile. That's what you call being able to do a number of things. We know he's a speedster. We know he's athletic, but he's good in coverage as well.
This is Glance over the left side, taken down at the 10, and Miami will use one of their timeouts.
I got 102. I got 102 on the clock. Miami. Timeout. Miami. Their first of the half. 30 seconds. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1 minute and 2 seconds.
Miami sensing an opportunity to get the football back, and rightfully so when you take a look at it. 7 offensive series completed for the Lions. 6 have resulted in punt. The other one, the interception on the first play of the game.
Now, you know what I see when I look at that graphic? I see the 84 yards, Lindenwood 0 for 6 on 3rd down. Now, normally, you would say a defense is not giving up nothing, even though that's a double negative. But where I'm from, we say they're not giving up Nathan. And that Miami Redhawks defense not giving up Nathan from Lindenwood right now. And you can see Glance probably a little flustered, and I don't blame him.
Lindenwood not necessarily thinking points on this drive. They just want to get a first down, keep the football away from Miami, but they're unable to do it. A rare drop. Pass might have been a bit behind Jalen Smith, but that's one that he normally brings in. And the trend continues for the struggling Lion offense on the road today.
Exactly. They had an opportunity. Miami brought some pressure, and Jalen right there, even the ball slightly behind him, but he's a receiver that's known to make some catches and make some big-time catches, and that ball was catchable. Even though it was slightly thrown behind him, it was catchable, and that's one of those balls I'm pretty sure he wished he could have back.
Vinatieri, good 5-6 steps deep in his own end zone, barely gets the punt away, does a nice job angling the ball near side. Billups Williams nowhere to go on the return. He is pushed out of bounds. As Mason Jones, the first one downfield for the Lions. 2 timeouts, 49 seconds to work. You have an exceptional field goal kicker in Jobin. Plenty of opportunity and options for Pat Welsh and the Redhawks.
You know what Cam Perry is saying right now? Look for me. Look for me. Coach, give me at least one opportunity to go back deep. I've beaten them several times, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do it again. And you see they coming out here in an empty formation. They have receivers all over the place spread out. So interesting to see what Henry Heston and his Miami offense is about to do.
Perry, 2 catches, 56 yards in this first half. Plenty of time. Heston surveys, delivers a strike. Clock will continue. It's a gain of 9 yards to Brady Simmons, the transfer from Indiana.
Timeout, Miami. Their second of the half, 30 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 43 seconds.
Simmons with his first catch of the season, a player that the coaches talked about is going to start to get some more reps. He has practiced well the last couple of weeks.
And that's what you want to do. You want to reward someone who works hard in practice, who has a good attitude, who remains patient. And that's apparently what Simmons has been able to do. And when you have that kind of attitude, you're going to get some opportunities on the field. But when you get those opportunities, you have to take advantage of it and catch the rock when they're thrown your way. And right there, Simmons with a little shallow dig route. Heston throws it to him, and he's able to bring it in.
Simmons played in 7 career games in his time with Indiana, had 1 catch last year for the Hoosiers. Prep for head coach Jason Simmons at Ben Davis High School, who was in action last night taking on Lawrence North back in the Indianapolis area. 2nd down and 1. The Redhawks still with a timeout. See if they show screen here. They do not. It's a decoy. Running to the boundary side is Tracy. First down yardage and then some. Kenny Tracy really picking up where he left off last week against the Running Rebs, 19 yards and a first down.
When I tell you this offensive line is absolutely working, this offensive line is absolutely working. Kenny Tracy goes after tackle, and there's no one there. Even though number 2 misses his block, Kenny Tracy still able to get up the field, but you still got to have vision and ability to see the hole. He's able to see it and get up the field and pick up another good chunkage.
Miami trying to go fast after the first down, and there was some movement on the offensive line. Fairly busy first half for our officiating crew and referee Rich Edwards.
Ball start, offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, first down. Miami has elected to use their 3rd and final timeout of the half to avoid a 10-second subtraction.
Ends up being a costly penalty.
Please reset the game clock to 33 seconds.
They called it on Eric Smith, but you could have called it on pretty much all of Eric's buddies up front.
And it's really on the quarterback, though. It's on Heston. Heston has to make sure that his offensive lineman is set and ready to play, because they're going on the sound. They're not going on the snap count. They're going on the clap. So they're waiting, and he didn't watch his offensive lineman to make sure they get set. So that's why all of them got called a flag thrown on them. But not trying to pick on you, Heston, but you got to just calm down and relax and just slow it up a little bit. Coaching moments.
Yeah, and these are always the moments you really look for a player that doesn't have a lot of reps. These 2-minute drills, and now managing the clock, managing the situation with 33 seconds. How he handles it for Chuck Martin as Miami tries to get some late points to close out a solid first half.
But you have to give Hessen some credit because he's made some plays when they needed him to make some plays, and he's been doing a good job of managing this offense this first half.
1st and 15 against the 3-man rush. Hessen can take off. He will. And he's going to have to hurry up, get back up to the line of scrimmage and get everybody going as the clock continues to wind.
He understands. That's what Lindenwood wants him to do. They want him to pull that ball down and run it to run some time off this clock.
He will stop the clock with 15 seconds to go. Well within field goal range of Jobin right now.
But they still have time to run a couple of quick outs toward the sideline, get a catch and get out of bounds to make the field goal attempt, if they have to attempt one, even easier. 15 seconds is plenty of time.
Wholesale changes for Miami. They bring in their speed package. Reynolds and Perry both checking in. Tracy as well.
Timeout. Lindenwood. Their second of the half. 30 seconds.
Lindenwood did not like some of their matchups, so they will use their second timeout. 3rd down and 9. 15 seconds to go. Homecoming weekend. A Miami program needing a shot of confidence before they dive in to MAC play next week. 0-3, and Doc, it's eerily similar if you're a Red Hawk to what happened last year. They were 0-3, then they had the game with UMass. They ended up knocking off the Minutemen, and we know the rest. They go 8-1 over the next 9 weeks, and they earn a spot in the MAC championship game.
That's why Chuck Martin and telling Red Hawks fans not to panic, because they've been in this situation before. This is not anything new. Now, it's maybe something new to these players that are out here, but they have a veteran head coach who's used to winning, who knows how to win, who knows how to deal, who knows how to win, who knows how to deal with adversity, and knows how to coach players out of adversity.
DeQuan Finn, you see him not in pads today. The starting quarterback out following the upper body injury. Throw over the middle, pass is caught. Clock will stop as they move the sticks for the first down. Really well done there by Hessen. Looking a lot like DeQuan Finn, and he will spike it with 11 seconds to go. Again, no timeout, so they have a chance, maybe even 2 cracks at the end zone.
That is, I mean, great play call. You just run a curl route, middle of the field.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 10 seconds.
Make sure you get to the stick so you do get a first down and stop the clock, and that's exactly what they did. You have your receiver come out, and I see what Hessens is doing. He just go, curl around the middle of the field, get past the line, get past the first down yardage. Did that, able to get a reception, stop the clock, change move, and now you set up for another play.
Timeout. Lindenwood. Their 3rd and final of the half. 30 seconds.
So the late chess match continues. Lindenwood using their 3rd and final timeout. So Doc, let's go inside the Miami huddle there with Chuck Martin, Pat Welsh upstairs in the booth. No timeouts, 10 seconds. What do you like here?
Take a shot at the end zone. You have to take a shot at it. If it's me, take a shot at the end zone. But make sure if you take a shot at the end zone, make sure it's an incomplete. Don't try to play hero ball. Don't try to force anything. But if someone is open, make routes into the end zone. Try to get a touchdown. But as I said, make sure Henry Hessen makes a great decision with the ball. Don't put it anywhere where it may end up being picked off. But you got to take a shot at the end zone, because if it's incomplete, you can run your field goal unit out there and kick a field goal.
Other part of that is Hessen knows he can't take a sack in this situation. Billups, Williams, and Perry, along with Reynolds, the trio of receivers to the right. Tracy comes back to join Hessen out of the shotgun. 10 seconds to go. Hessen dancing around, floats it back of the end zone, dropped. Colsey had it but could not haul it in.
Wow. Great decision by Hessen. Pressure, steps up in, thought about running and thought about it like, no, throws it to Colsey. Colsey is right there in the back of the end zone, hits him in the hands. Hessen with the perfect pass, a perfect ball, and you want to catch those passes, especially from a quarterback who's been having accuracy problems. But Hessen, great play right there, great decision not to run it. Throws a dart to Colsey, and Colsey, unfortunately, can't handle it.
Colsey, the transfer from Notre Dame. Low snap, dug out, kick on the way by Jobin. It is up, and it is no good. Wow, what a development late in this first half. Colsey drops what is a sure 6, and then the always reliable Dom Jobin misses the chip shot.
I mean, it's right there. You see the snap, the holder bobbled the snap, so they kind of got the kicker off his rhythm, and just a slight second of being off rhythm can throw the whole thing off, and that's exactly what it was. It looked like the kicker had to hesitate a little bit, and when you're not doing your normal orchestrated kick, you can have those kind of situations where you end up missing the field goal, and he missed them.
A rare miss for the two-time first-team All-MAC selection, Jobin. And if you're Lindenwood, something positive to close out the first half in what really has been a half dominated by Miami.
The end of the first half.
I just love what I've seen this first half. You could talk about Miami coming out, not having their starting quarterback, having to go with Hessen, but regardless of that situation, Miami's still able to come out making some great plays on special teams, some great defensive plays, and my man right there, Kenny Tracy, toting that peel, almost 100 yards rushing in this first half. So Miami's still going into the locker room, feeling pretty good, but they hate the points that they just left on the board.
3-1 edge statistically, 257 yards for this Miami offense, just the 17 points to show for it. All set up today, the special teams unit, Beasley the block, AG the touchdown, Hessen out of the bullpen for Finn, has the touchdown to Perry. Redhawks by 17. And welcome back. It's halftime, homecoming weekend in Oxford, Miami, and Lindenwood. Hey, we're very excited about this. It's the all-new ESPN app, the best way to watch sports, all of ESPN, all in one place. With live games, live stats, plus you can track your fantasy teams and personalize with your favorite leagues, teams, and players. And Doc, you get the feeling a lot of people will be using the app tonight because we have the big showdown, Alabama and Georgia tonight. Gunnar Stockton and company trying to keep Georgia on a roll. They have not lost 33 straight at home. Can they make that 34 tonight?
Well, it's a big boy ball game. You got the Crimson Tide versus the Georgia Bulldogs. You know, Georgia tough at home, but Alabama not looking like the Alabama of old, but of course they're hoping to go down to Georgia and get a dub. If I had to predict, Sean, and I really don't like to do predictions, I predict the roof on the Bulldogs. So it's going to be a good one.
Wow, there you go. Doc on record. What was that again?
The roof.
There you go. I can't even duplicate
the
it.
roof.
That's coming up tonight, 7:30 Eastern on ABC, also the ESPN app. We'll be back with more halftime from Oxford, Miami, and Lindenwood. Miami pitching the shutout here at the break, 17-0. They lead it over at Lindenwood. First ever meeting between these two teams. The MAC football schedule on ESPN, always loaded, and that is the case once again next week. 4 games on ESPN Plus. Western Michigan makes the trip to UMass, Central Michigan and Akron. A good one at Buffalo as the Bulls will try to slow down Eastern Michigan, and this Miami team on the road at DeKalb to take on Northern Illinois. 3:30 Eastern, next Saturday's slate on ESPN Plus. More from Oxford as halftime rolls on. Red Hawks leading the Lions 17-0. Halftime here in Oxford. Miami out in front. The Red Hawks looking for their first win of the year. Catapult into action next week. 17-0. They lead it at the intermission over Lindenwood. Speaking of the MAC, let's take a look at some of the scores across the league. Ohio has went final. 35-20 over Bowling Green. Central Michigan picks up a huge win. They take out Eastern today. Buffalo and UConn tied at 7. Northern Illinois, San Diego State. Low scoring game, and Toledo's jumped out on Akron. Rhode Island, Western Michigan, UMass, Missouri later tonight. Sean Kinney alongside Doc Holliday. Great to have you with us, Doc. This first half, the Miami defense certainly stood out, but we're still waiting to see that fundamental football, a crisp half that Chuck Martin desperately wants from his young team.
And you talk about that Miami offense, you see these mental lapses, and you can kind of contribute that and attribute that to them not having their starting quarterback. When you have a backup quarterback comes in, he doesn't have the same kind of flow and same kind of chemistry with the players on the field, so you expect them to struggle, but not struggle the way they have. But if you do struggle, you want to struggle with the lead, and they're struggling with the lead right now.
Well, your star quarterback on the bench with an injury. Who steps up? It's been the defense today for the Red Hawks. They have forced 7 punts. Lindenwood, 8 offensive possessions in the first half. 7 ended up with a punt, the other, the interception.
And right off the bat, you're coming with a pick. Let me get that. Then you have the defense swarming, showing that team speed and that physicality, glance, nowhere to run. Then back to pass again. Number 20 comes off the edge, sends them back in to all the other Miami Red Hawks defenders. There just hasn't been anything for Lindenwood to do because they haven't been able to do anything through the air or on the ground. But you know somebody who has been able to do something on the ground? That guy right there that you talked about, Mr. Kenny Tracy, that had all those family members and friends come to the game last week. And they're here this week, too, because I saw them before the game. And Kenny Tracy is showing what he did last week and what he's capable of doing, just toting that pill. The offensive line doing a great job of blocking. He's doing a great job of reading those blocks. But they haven't been doing a great job of this right here, Sean, just making mistakes. Just here, Coles, what happened here, Sean? What do you got going on, Sean? Da-boop. He drops the touchdown in the back of the end zone, man. He doesn't think it's funny. And then you have the kick come out, bobbles the snap. Kick hits the upright in Miami, leaving some points on the board and not feeling pretty well about themselves right now.
Yeah, those little mistakes, especially toward the tail end of the half, so uncharacteristic for a Chuck Martin team. 17-0, second half kickoff right around the corner. You're watching the MAC on ESPN. Final weekend of September, the hallowed halls of Oxford, Miami. Beautiful backdrop on this homecoming Saturday. Temperatures in the upper 70s. The final full weekend of September. MACtion knocking on the doorstep next week. Lindenwood will get the football first to start the second half alongside Doc Holliday. Sean Kinney with you here from Yager Stadium. Miami 0-3. Lindenwood at 2-2 entering this week. Winners of 2 straight. Offensive numbers put up in the first half. It was a half, in particular a second quarter, dominated by the host Redhawks.
It was. It's just the first half, specifically that second quarter you talked about, Sean, where Miami just absolutely dominated Lindenwood, taking total control of this ball game right now. But if I'm Lindenwood, if I'm Coach Stugart at halftime, I'm telling my team now, we just saw Miami give up the ghost last week against UNLV, had a big lead, end up losing the lead, losing the game, able to come back. So if I'm Lindenwood, I'm thinking about that and kind of forgetting what happened with this first half and just looking at the second half and trying to capitalize on some of those mistakes that Miami did make in the first half.
Very quiet first half for Nate Glantz. 7 of 17, 60 yards. He was picked off on the very first play from the line of scrimmage for this Lion offense. And we both talked over halftime. We expect a steady dose of Jared Rhodes and Steve Hall. Not a lot of touches between those two in the first half.
Yeah, I was looking at that specifically from Steve Hall. We saw him make some great cuts and some good runs. It's not a lot of running room, but you can't really give up on the running game, especially in a game like today where physicality is a must.
3 yards for Rhodes. And now Glantz will keep it, try to get outside, shakes free from Lacusa. Lacusa stretched the jersey out with his big wingspan, had a piece of Glantz. Glantz is a good-sized quarterback, 6 feet 2 inches, 215 pounds. Stretching that big body forward to set up a manageable third down.
He's thick. He's trying to make some plays. Just an option. He decides to keep it. Lacusa almost got him. Winds up with a raggedy souvenir, and Glantz winds up with some positive play.
Third downs. They will be nightmares tonight for Lindenwood unless they get things turned around in the second half. 0 for 7. They hand the ball off, and this will be very close. I don't think he got there. McWood hit him initially, and he will be marked just short, less than a yard. And if you're the Lions, you got to roll the die early, don't you, or not?
I would punt right there, but you love Miami. They're coming out aggressive. They decided to bring the house. They're trying to make sure every gap was accounted for, every player was accounted for, and that's exactly what they did. They brought some pressure, they blitzed, and there was just nowhere for the running back to run. Huge third down stop.
They send out the punter, Vinatieri, for the 8th time. Wobbly kick will finally come to a rest right at the 19-yard line. A 3 and out as they try to establish the running game. And now it's right back in the hands of Henry Hessen. Had his moments in the first half, making just his 2nd career start, the 5th-year senior out of Plainfield, Indiana. Last time he started a game for Miami was the monsoon that they called the bowl game a couple of years ago with App State. Stop, start with all the rain.
Yeah, he's getting some valuable experience today. We could talk about him managing this Miami offense, but what he hasn't done is turned the ball over and made any crucial mistakes, so that's huge.
And for the 2nd straight week, Tracy is over the 100-yard mark. Kenny Tracy out past the 25 up to the 26. That's a gain of 6 for Tracy, who last week had his first career multi-touchdown game, finding the end zone for the first time since 2023, showing 100% health in his return from the torn ACL. On 2nd down, it is Tracy as a flag is thrown. Tracy surging the pile ahead for a yard or two.
Holding, Defense, number 98. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's Andrew Zook, the guilty party. The lineman trying to plug the hole by grabbing one of the offensive linemen. You don't see that call too often. Zook, the first-year starter.
Especially on a run play, it's almost like he was trying to hold the offensive lineman to keep the offensive lineman from going to the second level to block a linebacker. You really rarely see holding calls on defensive linemen, especially on running plays.
Hessen will lob it. He's looking for Weaver, trying to come back to the ball, and it was nearly intercepted. Jaden Patrick, the leader of the secondary, nearly came away with the pick, and now he's down.
Timeout for an injured player on the defense. Immediate timeout.
This is a player they can ill afford to lose. One of their most experienced players, Jaden Patrick, being attended to right now. You talk to all the Lindenwood coaches, and they call Jaden Patrick uncle because he has been here for a while. They feel like he's been around for 10 years. He's that type of leader. Was part of the Division II National Championship squad before transitioning to D1. And Doc, a missed opportunity, you thought, with the deep ball here to Weaver.
Yeah, it's glad Jaden Patrick is okay, but right here, Weaver had him. He had a step on Patrick, and Hessen just floats the ball, puts too much air under the ball again, not enough velocity, and just throwing it out there. And it's another missed opportunity because Cole Weaver definitely had a step, if not two steps, on Patrick, and just another miss by Hessen.
We'll keep an eye on Patrick. He has went into the tent. Good to see him walk off on his own power, and he is one of the top D-backs in the OVC. Room to run over the left side. Plenty of yards for Keith Reynolds, showcasing why they were so excited when they brought him in from Washington. 20 yards for Reynolds.
Oh my gosh, you put number 0 in the backfield and you give him the ball. You look at the counter and look at the cutback. You see the hold. He's able to get through it. Look how quick those feet, picking them up and putting them down and getting down the field. Just great vision by Reynolds. He can really do it all, and it's probably going to be corny, but Reynolds wrapping up that play by picking up about 15 yards.
Yeah, you warned us.
I did. I gave you a warning.
First down at the 42-yard line. This is right back to their conventional running back, Kenny Tracy. Now you go back to Keith Reynolds, his first year here, spent the last 2 seasons with Washington, played 12 games for the Huskies. Really, his decision to transfer somewhat unexpected in the Pacific Northwest because Washington was losing 2 of their top 3 receivers. Giles Jackson, Jeremiah Hunter, both gone to graduation, but nonetheless, Reynolds hit the portal, and I think that's going to be a key find as Maction starts up next week for Miami.
That's a great change of pace for Miami in that backfield because he's a totally different dynamic than Tracy.
Second down, they pitch it to the boundary side. This is Tracy, and he is hit hard. Strickland took him up high, and that was McClendon, the 5th-year defensive end, hitting him low.
But I love to see the blocking by number 86 right here. See, the only way you can have anything positive, especially on these pitch plays, you got to have people willing to block. And look at the tight end just driving his man out, even though the linebacker comes in, gets a big hit. But I just love to see receivers and tight ends willing to block for running backs because that's how big plays get popped off.
Saw Miami convert their first 3rd down right before the end of the first half. 1 for 7 today, 3rd down and short. This is Tracy up the middle, and he's going to be cut down. That was Strickland again, piercing his way down the line of scrimmage, setting up a 4th down. 8 tackles today, Doc, for the outside linebacker, Sanjay Strickland.
And Sanjay Strickland has been a bright spot on that Lindenwood defense, but he's been able to get a lot of work and a lot of action because the way Kenny Tracy's been toting that peel, Kenny Tracy is averaging, what, 6-7 yards a carry, but Sanjay Strickland is doing his best to mitigate everything that Tracy's able to do on the ground.
4th down, and this is going to be real close to Shante Jones, the big back, the 250-pounder, as they umpile the bodies, and it was that weight, that strength, churning the legs. As the officials look over, no indication yet. And now they're going to say 1st down. Took a while, but they signal 1st down.
Look at the push, look at the drive, and that's a tough short yardage run. It's close, but that's all you want to do right there is pick up the 1st down and protect the football, and that's exactly what they did.
Jones, the redshirt freshman, good tough 1.5 yards, keeps the drive alive. Now on the move, they get it. Back to Reynolds, working along the boundary side. It doesn't take a lot of real estate for Keith Reynolds to make his magic happen.
Not at all, just flood him out to the flat, give it to him quickly, and that's exactly what Hessen was able to do right there. Get it to Reynolds, and Reynolds getting the ball in some space, getting upfield and get some positive yardage. And you can see right now they're trying to make sure they implement Reynolds into this offensive game plan, and he's making it pay off so far.
Miami doing a really nice job blending the run with the pass. 10th play of the drive coming up. On the RPO, big hole up the middle. Tracy to the 5, touchdown. Kenny Tracy right up the gut. 20 yards for the Red Hawks.
You can look at this Lindenwood defense. They're gassed because they just got gassed. Kenny Tracy, all he has to do, he took his time. Hole opens up, huge hole opens up. Makes one cut, just a small cut, and just goes straight forward. And there was nothing for him to do, just run straight. And only thing that could have stopped him from scoring right there is himself, because it was great blocking, but he's still able to see the hole and cap it off with a nice touchdown run.
Most impressive drive of the day for Miami. 10 plays, 80 yards. The center of the offensive line opening up the hole. Tracy took it from there. Kenny Tracy having himself a day, a career high 134 yards on the ground. Second straight week that he has topped the century mark, and this is a guy that relies on alarms throughout the course of the day. You know, the annoying sound that you can pick on your phone. He sets an alarm for literally everything, whether it's time to drink water, take a nap, wake up from your nap, time to stretch, time to hit the ice cold tub after a workout. Everything triggered by an alarm in his life.
And he must have an alarm of toting that pill, because that alarm went off for him to tote that rock today. And that's exactly what Kenny Tracy has been doing.
10-play, 80-yard drive orchestrated by Hesson in this offense for Miami. And when you look at Kenny Tracy, he's the complete package. 230 pounds, he can run over you, and he can run by you.
I just love what he brings to the table, man. You see here on the draw play, this nice cut, gets up the field, runs through a arm tackle, can't get through that one, but still picks up some great yardage. But here, almost runs over the referee. Get out of my way, my guy. Then look at that hole. Shows some patience, then shows the explosion to get through it and score the touchdown, even though he got hit a little late in the end zone. But Kenny Tracy said, doesn't matter to me. Coach Chuck Martin said Kenny Tracy really doesn't talk a lot, but when you're balling like that and your play speaks for yourself, you really don't have to talk too much. Your alarms can speak for yourself.
Miami program through the years is getting some space over the left side for 8-9 yards. Going back to the Miami ground attack, they are coming off back-to-back seasons where they've had a 1,000-yard rusher. Well, they took a hit to graduation last year. They had Josh Ringer coming in. Jordan Brunson's a big back, transfer from Virginia Tech, but they knew a healthy Kenny Tracy could certainly keep that trend going this year, and he's certainly on course.
No doubt about it, and it's about attitude. You know, when you have a good rushing attack and you're able to physically dominate people, that has to do with attitude.
Back-to-back carries for Rhodes and a first down for Lindenwood. Well, they've been known when looking at the Redhawks to be a big play offense, but when you crack it all down, it's been their ability to run the football consistently in the MAC.
That's why I don't understand when people say the running back position is dead. No, it's not. It's well and alive here in Miami, and they know that.
Glance with time. He has a receiver. That's Crobath, but he missed him. Incomplete. Crobath had gotten behind Yarborough.
And Glance knows he just missed a great opportunity. A big play like that would have done a lot for this Lindenwood offense that hasn't been able to do much of anything today. But Glance just been off the entire day, and it's a reason he's been off, because of this Miami defense. But he had Crobath wide open, just overthrew him.
Glance coming off a 200-yard passing effort plus 100 yards rushing in the win against Stony Brook. That had not happened for a few years. Here they show the option look for the first time as they pitch it wide, and getting up high and getting a hand. This is going to be a horse collar. Walter's got his right paw in the back of the neck area, dragging down the wide receiver Christopher Bennett.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense number 29. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic, first down.
Such a dangerous tackle, man. So many bad things can happen, and that's an obvious horse collar. That's literally the definition of a horse collar, and thankfully he's okay.
Christopher Bennett, the true freshman, East St. Louis. Glance looking right, off his back foot, underthrew his intended receiver. Second time he has missed Crobath. Glance just didn't have the proper time to really set the feet and throw it.
And once again, Crobath comes wide open, and Glance misses him. And you understand, you see he has pressure coming. He has to throw the ball on his back foot, fading away, and is not able to get enough velocity and strength on that ball, because if he had been able to do that, it would have been an easy touchdown. But it's still that Miami defense making plays, preventing Lindenwood from making plays.
Once again, that was James Schott, the redshirt sophomore, who was pushing the pace that time. Pressure up the middle. Glance trying to buy some time. He will just heave it out of bounds. Nowhere to go with it. Heard the footsteps by Job, the transfer from Kansas, who they're really high on applying the heat.
Yeah, Miami not only getting some good pressure on Glance, they're just covering well. I mean, there was really nowhere to throw the ball, nowhere to go with the ball, and Glance making the decision to just throw it away instead of trying to force something and possibly throw a pick.
Lindenwood 0 for 8 on third downs. Chuck Martin and this defense, they have been flying to the football really since the opening whistle today. They've been aggressive, and they will continue that trend. They bring everyone launching deep, looking for Bond. Walters had his assignment.
And Rico Bond is obviously frustrated, and I can understand, but Glance gave him an opportunity. It was just no space, no room. It's just great coverage by Walters there. He gets his head around just like Rico Bond got his head around, and just great coverage by Walters. And there was no way he was going to be able to complete that pass because Walters makes sure he wasn't able to complete that pass. But I see Glance and that Lindenwood offense still taking shots, but those shots coming up unsuccessful.
Vinatieri's punt inside the 5, perfectly done by A.J. Vinatieri. He pins Miami deep. Redhawks in control halfway through this third quarter. Homecoming in Oxford stretches not 1, not 2, but 3 days. One of the great traditions and one of the oldest homecoming celebrations across the country got underway Thursday with the traditional parade as the community comes together, both humans and four-legged friends alike, all having a wonderful time in Oxford. And that party has continued from the streets downtown to Yager Stadium on a gorgeous Saturday. From the 3-yard line, Josh Ringer up ahead for a yard or two.
So we didn't see enough of us a puppy love, man. They didn't show us enough of us a puppy love on the homecoming.
You a puppy fan? You a dog guy or a cat guy?
Didn't you see me go woof woof earlier?
That's true.
Come on, man. Come on, Sean.
Why even ask that?
That's a puppy love, man.
Oh, those puppies. I sat by a puppy on the plane a couple of weeks ago. That was a first.
Outstanding.
Puppy was in first class. I was
wow.
in coach right behind him.
Oh, wow.
Second down, they stretch it wide. Billups Williams, and a good job with the pursuit. He was down there as he was chopped down at the 8.
And if Billups would have cut inside instead of going outside, he probably could have taken it to the house because 30 had a great kick-out block. He decided to try to go outside, but that underneath cut, if he would have cut inside, he probably would have taken it to the crib. Like, now you got to plant your right foot right now. Look at that hole. Look at that. Look at that. I see somebody coming up, but you got a blocker. So you got to go between 30 and that other blocker, man. But, yeah, just a wrong read. If he can see that again, he's going to see it in the film room when they put that red laser up there.
That was Sam Owens who came in and delivered the boom from his cornerback position. Third down. They will hand it off, and this is Ringer. Ringer snowed under at the 11. And a quick 3 and out for Miami. Lindenwood behind the strong pump by Vinatieri should get the football back in great shape.
Yeah, they should get it in great shape. And if I'm Miami, I don't want to get complacent or lackadaisical right now. I don't know why Kenny Tracy wasn't in there on that play. Maybe he's taking a break, but you want to keep your foot on the gas, especially what happened to them. Speaking of Miami, what happened to them last week against UNLV, but I don't think that's what Chuck Martin is doing right now, but I know he still wants his team to be engaged and telling them to stay engaged, and he's going to do more coaching now that they have a big lead because you're going to have to be able to play an entire 60 minutes, especially when you get into conference play.
Delay a game. Offense, number 34. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That spelled doom from the get-go. Miami kept the offense out on the field for a little bit longer time, and Chuck Martin finally pulled them off, and by the time the punting unit got out there, not enough time to get situated, and the heels of Stainton now right along the back of the goal line. Gets the kick away, and another beauty. Fair catch signal for at the 43. Year 9 for Jed Stugart with this Lindenwood program. Spent 3 years at Mid-American Nazarene, then 7 years at Sioux Falls, and he turned a program into one of the top programs in Division II. And what was so interesting, that was a navigation from NAIA waters to Division II, and now here he is nearly a decade later navigating Lindenwood from the D2 ranks to Division I and doing one heck of a job with it.
And I love the attitude and the personality that he instills into his team. That's an attitude and personality of toughness and discipline and playing to the last whistle.
Steve Hall, just his 6th touch of the game, and Hall with a quick burst picks up 9 into plus territory.
And I'm kind of shocked we haven't seen more of Steve Hall, because even in the first half when this game was still competitive and you didn't have this big distance as far as points is concerned, Steve Hall made a couple of real good runs, and you can see the potential and the capability he has of possibly popping a long one.
Second down and a yard. Glance setting up the screen. Hall makes the catch, but it was read beautifully. Sniffing that out was Corbin Hondrew, who the coach has talked about playing the best football of his career over the last 3 weeks.
And Corbin Hondrew is one of those who coach said he's great in the passing game, and you can see why he reads this perfectly. He's not reading on an elementary level, reading on a collegiate level. Reads that and drops him right away, sees the screen being set up and doesn't fall for it at all, runs all past the blockers to bring the receiver down.
What was the word Chuck Martin used with him? Instincts.
Instincts, and you can see it perfectly right there.
Loss of 6, setting up a 3rd down and 7. They run a stunt, Trick coming off the edge, and he put the hit on Glance. Glance got rid of it at the nick of time. Adam Trick, the redshirt junior, Miami front 4, ran a stunt, and they were able to pressure the veteran signal caller.
They have, and Glance just hasn't been able to do much of anything today. And I can see it in his body language. You can see it in his body language. He's just kind of slowly walking out the field, throwing his arms around him. Just look at the pressure. They only rush 4, but they play a little stunt game, and Adam Trick able to stay alive, apply some pressure.
Intentional grounding.
And
offense.
Glance.
Number 18. penalty includes a loss of down at the spot of the foul, 4th down.
Yeah, that's one of those situations. Glance is like, I don't want the ball anymore, man. He just throws it away. He knew no one was over there, but this play is over. This play is dead. Let me get on out of here so we can punt it.
Cannot speak high enough about how well this Miami defense has played today. Lindenwood offense moved the ball really well in the second half against App State a few weeks ago, coming off a big offensive explosion last week, but they have been bottled up. Red Hawk defense headlined by Corbin Hondrew, fresh off a 2-interception game last week against UNLV.
Ball hawk. I have to call the Red Hawk a ball hawk. That's a tip ball hawk. And I love to say Hondrew, because Hondrew was just making plays last week. You see the pick 6 and just absolutely doing some amazing things. Our first time calling his name this past series, but he's been doing what he's supposed to do, but he's just a playmaker for this Miami defense.
Miami has had so many terrific linebackers. Matt Salopek, the name that was most recent. Big shoes to fill with Salopek's departure, the former MAC Defensive Player of the Year, but you look at the trio of Hondrew and McCain, Jackson Kuwatch, who's leading this team today in tackles. They just seem to reload at linebacker in Oxford.
Hey, you know, when you have a position that has some kind of success like linebacker, it's easy to go recruit other linebackers because you have somebody to place in front of them. Like, look, you can come here. We know how to develop linebackers. Linebackers are going to get a chance to shine and get a chance to ball out, and that's exactly what they've been doing here at Miami.
Second down, looks like Miami with some confusion on personnel, so Chuck Martin's going to use a timeout.
Miami, their first of the half, 30 seconds.
Chuck Martin, 57 years old, was really open about the challenges he has had with this year's unit. Again, they lost every one of their offensive starters from a year ago. He says this is as hard as he has coached throughout his 3+ decades.
But that's why he's so good, because he's able to adjust. Good coaches are able to adjust, and a lot of times you have to adjust to the personality and to the generation that you're coaching. Some coaches like to stay in their zone, and they don't want to be malleable. Coach Martin is malleable, and he understands, like he told us, he was talking about this inexperienced offensive line, but this inexperienced offensive line has picked up a lot of experience today because they've balled out and had a really good game, and Chuck Martin hasn't had to do as much coaching so far.
After the timeout, 2nd down and 9. The ball at the 30-yard line as we approach a minute to go. High throw. Good hands there, just reeling that one in. It's a short gain to Billups-Williams. You bring up a good point, Doc, with Chuck Martin. One of those coaches that adjusts to the styles of his player rather than making the player adjust to the system. He's had to do that at quarterback. Gabbert went down a couple of years ago. Completely different style with Avion Smith, who powered Miami, kept them winning in Gabbert's absence, and that was one of the reasons he was able to bring in DeQuan Finn from Baylor. Hessen, receiver out there, Perry, this time he catches it in stride, and they're not going to catch the speedster from Atlanta. Bang, touchdown Miami, 66 yards.
And Sean, I got so excited when I saw this touchdown, man. I had to get my chair out of the way, make sure I wasn't tangled, because look at this route, the slot receiver. You see Cam Perry, he's on the hash, go up the seam, now go route, get right past it, now stack him, get back on top of him. Hessen throws a beautiful ball. We talked about Hessen underthrowing Cam Perry a couple of times. He didn't underthrow him there. That means he was coached up at halftime. Perfect placement of the football. Mr. Hessen, a salute, clap to you. And once again, Hessen, coach, getting coached up, getting some accolades, and rightfully so. Standing back there tall, rips it. Perry grips it, and he gets gone. Beautiful 66-yard pass and catch. And Hessen standing up there and showing some toughness, because he got smacked, spinned up out of it, falls to the ground, sees that he throws a perfect ball, chewing on that mouthpiece, and he's like, yeah, shake the belt, man. Shake the haters off. Slow trot to the end zone and talking to the coach. Now he can talk to the coach and smile now instead of getting screamed at.
208 yards through the air for Hessen. Both of his touchdown passes to Cam Perry, and for the third straight game, Perry is over 100 yards receiving.
Perry is a problem because he's quick. If you don't jam him and just get him and give him a free release and you playing man, you can hang that up, man. If you don't have a free safety back there helping you, too deep, whether it's too deep, one deep, if it's just man to man and you trying to stop Perry, it's not happening. He's too explosive off the line of scrimmage.
3 plays, 71 yards on the scoring drive. Hessen is now hooked up to Cam Perry twice, 31 yards, and most recently 66. And the deficit grows for Glantz and the Lions offense.
That's right, Henry. Hessen, get you some libations. It's a H2O libation, but you deserve it, man. Just beautiful ball.
Played well last week. Really put Miami in a position to win the game. Thing goes out. He ends up getting injured on the pick six. Really turned the tide when it looked like Miami might be going in for a blowout early with UNLV. Hessen was brought in following that injury, and he really brought calm to the offense. Glantz scrambles ahead for 3.
And even if you're looking at Hessen from last week, he wasn't expecting to play, so he was able to come into the game. Really wasn't thinking about it, just playing off instinct. Now this week, knowing he's probably going to be the starter, knowing he was going to be the starter, so you're thinking, and a lot of times you can get in your head and overthink, and that may have been part of the reason why he had such a slow start.
This is the end of the third quarter.
Hessen and this Miami Redhawks squad, winless through the first few weeks of the season. Nothing like winning on your home turf in front of a homecoming crowd, having a good time this afternoon. Tracy the touchdown run, Hessen the touchdown pass, all Redhawks. Miami celebrating homecoming up 31-0 as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Your game summary today, it's been about the Red Hawk defense pitching the shutout. Glance, very talented quarterback, really bottled up. 8 of 22, 54 yards. For the second straight week, Tracy goes over the 100-yard mark rushing. See the production offensively from Lindenwood. 10 punts yet to convert on third down today. Alongside Doc Holliday, Sean Kinney with you as the sun sets on a beautiful late Saturday afternoon, early evening here in Oxford. Doc, questions coming in for Miami. No DeQuan Finn, out with an injury. His return still up in the air, labeled an upper body injury. Without a couple of defensive starters today, their center was a question mark coming in, but Manu's been able to get out there. Backup quarterback that has performed, and they've relied on this defense today.
Yes, they have. This defense has put up some great numbers beside this play that Lindenwood just went deep, and Nate Glance is still in there. That means that Lindenwood is still competing, and kind of surprised to see Glance still in there, but he is, and he's still ripping it. He throws it back there, and just a beautiful ball placed right over the shoulder of the receiver. But Miami still don't want to let up at all right now. They want to keep pressing forward.
Biggest play from the line of scrimmage, 34 yards, little hitch along the near side, broken up. They were looking for Jalen Smith. There's a flag down in the backfield.
There is no foul for roughing the passer. The player was blocked into him.
Let's see if he was indeed blocked into him. Nah, it don't look like he was blocked into him to me. It looked like he tickled him on his own. But hey, referee, do what you do. Great job. The refs have done a great job, and the camera people have done a great job as well. So.
Look at this offensive line for Lindenwood. Even though they've had a tough day today on second down, as Hall is hit high, and he is taken down right there. Man, like a torpedo flying in. All types of momentum coming in from O-line.
That is how you feel the whole. When you're a linebacker, they're coming out in their 42 defense. Feel it, because the running back is yours, and 2-2 takes a big hit by 1-1. So 11 is half of 22, and 11 just took half of 22 up off of him with that big hit right there.
Some reserves in defensively for Miami. Bringing the same type of thunder the starters did. Third down, they'll look for Bond. 50-50 ball, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Eli Koppas, and he has a wave of blockers down the sideline. Koppas returns it all the way near midfield. The backup's getting into it. Koppas, the redshirt junior, with his first interception. A return of 42 yards. Second takeaway today by the Miami secondary. Just a few moments ago, Eli Coppice with his first interception of the year. The Coppice family lines certainly strong in the greater Ohio area. His father, linebacker Jason, great linebacker for Cincinnati back in the day. He was recruited to Cincy by Tim Murphy in 1989. He became a 4-year starter, had over 300 tackles. And his son Eli getting a chance at some action, comes away with the interception.
And Coppice, just great coverage. Coppice comes in the game like, you think you finna go deep on me? No, man, it's the reason why they call me Coppice and Roberts, and everything is Coppice-aesthetic, and you want cream with your Coppice. I'll take a pick with the Coppice.
Some new names out there for Miami. Jordan Brunson gets his first carry of the day, the 5th-year senior from Alpharetta, while the quarterback is redshirt freshman Tommy Gakowski. Gakowski coming off a redshirt season a year ago. In fact, you look at the two quarterbacks behind Hessen today with Noah Ehrlich and Gutowski. Those two faced off against one another in the state championship football game in Indiana a couple of years ago. Game won by Gutowski and company.
And Chuck Martin actually said he likes Gutowski. He loves what he brings to this football program.
Second down, he will keep it. Trying to use his wheels to the outside. Lassoed down by Josh Newkirk.
Sean, how about our production and graphics team, man? They already have all these things pre-produced and pre-graphic. Is that a word? Pre-graphic? Pre-graphic?
If Doc Holliday says it is, it is.
Pre-graphic, man. So we'll know who we're looking at and what we're looking at. And right now we're looking at Hessen, whose day is over after having a 13-21, no picks.
This is the big back Brunson who will move the chains in a first down. Jordan Brunson, 4th year at Miami, opened up his career, spent 1 year in Blacksburg with Virginia Tech where he redshirted. Again, this is a running back room that lost Keon Mosey, Dylan Downing, both those guys gone to graduation. Brunson, much like Deshaunte Jones, who we saw earlier in the game, one of those big backs that they have, change of pace back.
Good looking back too. I saw him pregame without his pads on, and I thought he was a bodybuilder.
He definitely looks the part. First down from the 43. Brunson, you're not going to bring him down with an arm tackle, and then he ran right over the top of Josh Newkirk. And you want to get Doc Holliday excited, my partner up here in the booth. Do what Jordan Brunson just did.
That's what I love. Get the rock, get through the hole, and hit the button, and truck stick just rolls right over number 12, and you have to adjust your helmet when you're a defensive back like that. When I say my man looks like a bodybuilder, he ran like a bodybuilder right there. That's where you finish a run. You make the defenders think twice, think triple before coming up hitting you anymore.
21 first downs today for Miami. They give it to the hot hand, and Brunson gets his 235-pound frame and that full head of steam going downfield without getting touched. That's a tough ask for your safety coming in to make the play.
And once again, he initially got contact 3 or 4 yards down the scrimmage, and how many yards he ended up with? 6, 7? So he moved the pile another 2 or 3 yards and fall forward. As a running back, you always want to fall forward, and Brunson has been doing that so far.
Brunson had his moments last year, rushing close for 300 yards, had 4 touchdowns, showed flashes at times, had a really good game against Central Michigan, rushing for 75. Here he scoots to the corner and is finally corralled, but not before he moves the sticks, and another Miami first down. Drug out of bounds by the backup linebacker, Andrew Baumgart.
And Brunson taking advantage of these opportunities. When you're a player like this and you're players like this, you don't want to hear anything about garbage time because you're still going to get judged when you're in there. We've seen Brunson go north and south and run some people over, and right there he shows some quickness to get to the outside. And look at his teammates coming up to him. They're smiling him, pounding him up, and they're probably happy to see him get some success and get some opportunities to come out here and ball out.
5 straight carries for Brunson, 34 yards. Miami is in the red zone. High snap. Gutowski goes up after it. He goes straight ahead, picks up 5, setting up a second down. Brunson right back in there after a quick break. You know, you laugh. You see Brunson leave for a play. Who replaces him? Deshaunte Jones in his 250-pound frame.
He just constantly bringing big backs in and out, and that wears on the defense, man, psychologically as well.
2 receivers right, 1 left. Every inch of this drive coming on the ground. Most of it by this guy until now. Good job knifing his way through with the penetration and the TFL.
Wrapped up by Andrew Baumgart. That's a loss of 3. 3rd and 8.
Kenny Tracy, 134 yards. That is a career high. Remember last week he rushed for 104. Back-to-back weeks with the quarterback on the shelf with an injury. You called him out in the pregame. He needed to step up, and he did.
He did, and I'm glad to see him have this kind of success. You see what he's been dealing with, the injuries over the course of the years, but then dealing with what he had to deal with late in the game against UNLV last week. Coach Martin still having confidence in him, bringing him back out here, giving him the ball so many times they have, and he put up some big numbers.
4th down and 2 after the jet sweep action. Antoine Thomas. Miami team that opened the year back-to-back road losses in the Big Ten. Wisconsin and Rutgers had the heartbreaker last week in their home opener with UNLV. They have put it all together today. They keep the offense out there. 1 for 2 this afternoon on 4th downs. They hand it to Brunson, digging hard, and he will be about a half a yard shy. They mark him down inside the 1. 1st and goal for the Redhawks.
You know what you do? You give it to him again.
Took
Big
the
Brunson,
words out of my mouth.
Give it to him again. You see the offensive lineman. Look at the combo block making a big hole. And Brunson just taking advantage of that hole, going right through it, and falls into the end zone. But ref said he came up just short, but you got to give it to Big Dog again. I think he's carried the ball. How many times on this drive? About 6 or 7 times. So, yeah, you got to let Big Dog finish that off, man.
7 carries, every single one of them on this drive.
Coming out in the pistol, the big package.
Looked like Miami might have had 12 guys in the huddle. Chuck Martin out on the field along this near sideline. They had a lineman checking out late who was sprinting off the field.
Timeout, Miami. Their first of the half. Media timeout.
Miami able to use a timeout before the penalty. Every year since 2014, Bristol-Myers Squibb Workforce has come together. A Coast to Coast for Cancer charity bike ride. This year trying to raise $1 million for the V Foundation for Cancer Research. More than 100 riders are relaying more than 3,000 miles from coast to coast. This weekend, a team of Bristol-Myers Squibb employees are cycling across Ohio. One of the riders, Christine Krebs, an Ohio native and Toledo alum, is a mother of 4 and cancer survivor who rode her segment in the Colorado altitude and mountains with just one lung earlier this month. If you would like to learn more about the ride, make a donation, please visit cancerbikeride.org. Such an inspiring story. Lindenwood showing some guts after the timeout. Second down. Keandre McClendon, the younger brother to their outstanding Russian, Kobe McClendon, in on the stop.
He is, and he's a little pumped up right there, but he has to understand, still got 3 more opportunities to make a stop, and have to look at the scoreboard when you get to celebrating like that. But I love his enthusiasm because he's out there and he's able to get an opportunity, and he's trying to make the most out of it.
Micah Finau, one of the defensive linemen in there. Jumbo package once again for Miami. Brunson behind Gutowski. Second down and goal. They will give it to Brunson, and he is denied a second straight time. It's man on man up front these last 2 plays, and Lindenwood showing some heart. Third and goal.
And you have to give some love to that Lindenwood front 7. Everybody that's down in the trenches, because
for an injured player on the defense.
Their job is to protect this line of scrimmage, protect that end zone, that goal line. That's exactly what they're doing. And I love it right now because this is when it's big boy football. Down on the goal line, everybody's jumbled up together. Can you push me back or can I push you back? And so far, Lindenwood has been successful 2 plays in a row.
Jesse Smith, a key part of the defensive depth along the front line that we're talking about. The redshirt sophomore out of Daytona Beach having really his best season, 3rd year with the Lions, and he is a key guy alongside Zach Nielsen. Those 2 backing up both McClendon and Passmore. Wouldn't be surprised to see McClendon and Passmore on the first team OVC Big South Association list at the end of the year. They are that good up front.
Oh, they're ballers. They're some absolute ballers.
Miami had it, 1st and goal inside the 1. They have been stuffed twice, and now the 13th play of this drive. Brunson to the right of Gutowski. H-back left is Leaper. They will hand it off, and the 3rd time is the charm. Barreling his way ahead. A monster 13-play drive for the Redhawks, and a finishing stamp on this one.
And that's a perfect example of, okay, great play from you all in play 1. Great play from you all in play 2. But what we're going to do, we're going to hit you with this 230-pound running back again and see if you can get us for play 3. That's what you call wearing somebody down, and that Miami offensive line wore that Lindenwood defensive line down, and big body Brunson took care of business.
13 plays. It eats up nearly 9 minutes off the game clock. 10 of those plays to number 6, Jordan Brunson, into the end zone for the first time.
Welcome back to the ball game here, and we have to take a look at this 1-yard touchdown run. I want y'all to take a look at Baumgart. Baumgart, the middle linebacker, he does his job. His job is a running back. Brunson gets it, reads it perfectly, shades over, meets in the hole like he wanted to happen, but no, dog. Brunson is just too big and too strong. Baumgart don't even get a chance to get his head up, and Brunson just runs through him, bounces off of him, scores a great touchdown. But Baumgart is there in position, and it's almost like he didn't have any choice but to make contact with Brunson, but just a great run. Brunson probably runs through a whole lot of linebackers in college football because he's just that big and strong.
The reserves marching the football down the field. 13-play drive. 8 minutes, 45 seconds off the clock. And the Redhawks go up 38-0 over Lindenwood. Miami team that needed some confidence this week, and Chuck Martin talked about it. He was really unsure how the guys would respond. He's always had a veteran team. You know, we showed the graphic earlier in the broadcast, the slow starts for Miami, mainly thanks to a real difficult non-conference slate. But he's always had a veteran team to bounce back. And young team able to get some confidence today. And speaking of youth, Pops Battle out onto the field for the first time, and they are really high on him. The redshirt freshman out of East St. Louis on the Illinois side of the border, as he gives it to Jared Rhodes.
Pops Battle has a great name.
Schedule coming up. UT Martin next week. Then they have their bye before
Timeout for an injured player on the offense.
back-to-back home games with Tennessee Tech and Gardner-Webb. Team that was predicted to finish 4th in the association, and Jared Rhodes gingerly making his way to the sideline. This is a sight that you don't want to see for the Lions. He injured his ankle in camp, then he re-aggravated the injury late last week. And now late in this football game, he is down along the Lindenwood sideline.
And you don't want to lose any players, especially starters, in a game like this when the game is technically over, but he's still in there, and you see how he ankle just kind of rolls up on it. It's hard when somebody is grabbing your foot and you can't continue to move and your momentum is stopped and you come get hit while your leg is still planted in the ground. Hopefully he's okay, but you hate to lose key players and pivotal players late in a game like this when you're not going to win it anyway.
Third down. Here comes the pressure off the edge. Good poise by Battle. He feels it. Then he is hit hard as he tried to go airborne. Got submarine down. Third down woes continue. You talk about a 180 for this Miami defense. Last week, they just could not get off the field. UNLV, 12 of 17 on third downs. Different story today. 1 for 13 for the Lions.
That's what you call making adjustments. That's what you call having mental fortitude. Not only that, that's what you call having pride. They saw what happened last week. They did not want to allow that to happen today, especially with homecoming. They want to play a lot better than they played last week, and that's exactly what they've done this week. Just a great performance by that Miami defense today.
Vinatieri, who has had plenty of opportunity to showcase his leg, sends this one through the end zone for the touchback.
Vinatieri has been dominant, man. He's been dominant today.
Brett Gabbert was the star of this program for so many years. They had questions at quarterback coming in, so they hit the transfer portal. DeQuan Finn, a huge find. Had those magical years with Toledo, close to 10,000 yards of total offense. Good majority of those yards winning a MAC championship with Toledo. Went to Baylor last year and just never got on track in Waco. He was slowed by injuries. Hit the portal. He had built a relationship through the years with Chuck Martin. Martin recruited him before Finn eventually settled in at Toledo. And again, Finn talked about it was the adaptability of Chuck Martin to build his offense around the strengths of DeQuan Finn, which ultimately led him to settling here in Oxford.
And that's what you want. You want to have somebody that believes in you, somebody who's going to give you the reins like Coach Martin has given to DeQuan Finn, because he believes in him, knowing he can run his offense and implement everything he wants done. But it's a good sight for Miami fans to see Quinn on the sideline dancing and in a good mood, moving around pretty good. So hopefully next week,
guys, he's
ready to go.
We hit the 2-minute timeout. Chuck Martin in Miami.
There was an injured
2 minutes
player on the
away from
defense.
celebrating their first win of this season. Injury timeout happened, so we're going to bring you right back in with us. We'll stay right here. And now
This is the 2-minute timeout.
we had our dress rehearsal, and now we're ready to take you to the 2-minute timeout. All Miami in this one. A happy homecoming from Oxford. A new homecoming tradition started last night here in Oxford. Uptown Madness started at 10:30 last night. The men's and women's basketball teams mingling with the fans, and then they did some skill competition, plus a mini game. And the beauty of it, everything outside on the outdoor court. They were under the lights, and they were loving every second of it. Second down after the 2-minute timeout, and a big hole opens up for Deshaunte Jones. This has been a fortress throughout the years for Miami, a program that has been to 5 straight bowl games, and a lot of that is because of the success defending the home turf in the MAC, which is so pivotal.
Everyone knows once you come into Miami and even think about getting a win here on their home turf. They're going to make it extremely difficult. That's why they have such a history of winning, because they're able to dominate home field advantage.
Victory formation for Miami. Well, we've talked a lot about the different aspects today. Obviously, the defense has been the story, but this young offensive line replacing 5 starters. They lose Will Jados to Texas Tech via the transfer portal. John Young, Charlie Knack, Colby Borders, Reed Holsky, all gone to graduation. It was one of the most veteran offensive lines in the MAC, so you knew there were going to be growing pains. They were pushed around in week 1 at Wisconsin. They improved in week 2 at Rutgers. They moved the football against UNLV, and today this offensive line continues to take steps in the right direction.
They grew up, and I tell everybody, you know, growth is painful. Getting stronger is painful. It's just like lifting weights. You put big weights on it, it's going to hurt at first, but eventually going to be able to lift it. So today, this Miami offensive line able to lift it, and they got some experience and they got stronger.
Much needed win for the Red Hawks, and this is the time of the year when you flip the calendar to October. You start to pay attention to Miami as they get ready to dive into action next week, and this is what the doctor ordered for them. The defense pitches the shutout, their first shutout since November of 2023 when they blanked Akron. The offense gets the job done. Tracy goes over 100 yards on the ground. Cam Perry goes over 100 yards receiving for the 3rd straight week, and Henry Hessen steps in for the injured Daquan Finn.
Henry Hessen comes in and does a great job after missing a couple of throws, but he's able to gain some confidence. Kenny Tracy is able to bounce back from where he ended the game last week against UNLV, and this Miami Red Hawk team as a whole coming out with a very dominant performance. And you always want to win homecoming, and today they won homecoming in a big way.
Miami strikes the win column for the first time. It will be a happy homecoming tonight in Oxford. The Red Hawks 1-3. Lindenwood falls to 2-3. For both these teams, it's into conference action next week. Miami wins it 38-0 over Lindenwood. For Doc Holliday, this is Sean Kinney saying so long from Oxford. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.